What do you mean by that?
I am Jose.
I am Jose Mourinho.
Who the hell's that?
He's the coach for Man City, Manchester City.
Damn.
Are we rolling? Oh, it is rolling.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you drinking this beer?
You want? It's
Isn't this an intro for something else? We're gonna get flagged by copyright.
No, it's by a TikToker. I was gonna tag him.
Did you hit him up first? You need to hit him up first before even.
That's what I was gonna do. You just now I gotta cut it where you say all that stuff. Cause now we gotta start all over again. Podcast 101. Cállate. Speak till spoken to.
Sponsored by.
You gotta pronounce it.
Strong, bro.
Bro, I thought you would drink. Since 1634? Bro, they've had a brand since 1634?
Damn, since the Third Reich.
That's fucking way before the Third Reich, too.
The first one.
It's called Berliner. Oh, it's brewed in Germany. Holy shit.
That's that good shit.
Oktoberfest. Yeah, has you ever seen Oktoberfest? The movie?
Yeah, I love it. I used to love that shit when I was a little kid.
Yeah, it's written by the guys.
Wasn't it about like the whole beer contest?
Yeah.
Who won that one? Was it
The
America?
Americans.
The Americans. But it was the guys who, what's it called? Who did Super Troopers. It was the same guys who did Super Troopers and did, what's it called? What's it? Tacoma FD.
I've never seen Tacoma.
It's on Hulu. Shout out Hulu. Sponsoring.
I ain't gonna lie. I need that.
I'm just kidding. It's not.
I need that. Your Hulu password again, bro.
Bro, I ain't got Hulu anymore.
For real?
I just this guy has it.
So on my Hulu?
Yeah, I need that shit.
Yeah. It's gonna get
My
flagged.
Hulu this whole time?
You're gonna get.
No wonder I fucking.
Why is this?
It'd be like there's too many users on your Hulu account.
Why is it? You're gonna be like that. Why is this shit coming out in Spanish, bro? What the fuck?
Oh yeah, I remember when I give you.
HBO?
No, Disney Plus.
Everything.
Oh, I forgot. I gave Alex. So I gave Alex my Disney Plus account and Lewis, and I was like, I was gonna try. What the hell was I watching? Oh, I was watching Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, all the Marvel shows.
Like, and yeah.
So it was like,
And then no, I was watching Infinity War, but bro, and like it happened right twice. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then Infinity War, and I was playing it, and it was like when it like opened up in the middle of the scene, and I'm like, it was like Thanos talking Spanish.
Imagine.
Perdóname, chiquilla.
bro, everything. I watched everything in Spanish.
Bro, I got so mad. Like I texted
I've been
you.
watching it with my mom.
I
I just get used to it, and I don't change it back.
You put subtitles in English?
No, we just let that shit run.
No subtitles?
I put subtitles in English when they're speaking English.
Yeah, he's not a nosau.
Yeah, I'm about to be a no one.
No, when
Lewis is an Osawa kid.
For real?
yeah,
Isn't Lewis from Mexico?
yeah,
Nah,
he didn't. He didn't tell you he was there when they had to put him on the basket and push him across the Rio. But I mean, we're pretty
I'm
fucking
not
nosau.
even old enough to remember.
Bro,
But I remember that when I did when I did open it up all those times, and then it just opened up in Spanish. I'm like, bro, who the hell is using this? And I was thinking, remember when Jess? I remember I had used my account on Jesse's house, so I thought like Jesse had my account. I'm like, is it fucking Jesse? I'm like, nah, I don't think he has it. And I'm like, bro, I'm fucking texting you. I'm like, bro, I'm like, are you watching shit in Spanish? Like, yeah, I'm watching on my mom. I'm like, bro, get this fucking. Aquí no hablamos inglés. English.
bro, I watch shows with English subtitles.
I mean, who doesn't? I mean, I always like. For me personally, it's a storyline. It's super important. If you can't, you know,
Some words I can't fucking.
you can't hear the storyline, then freaking.
Man, paga ese timbre.
Is that me?
Nah, P.
All right, that's where my emergency pass on.
All right, so people who don't know who's with us today.
Oh yeah, we got special
We got
guests.
special guest. special. spe- special guest. We needed a long introduction. He is related to me. He is he's a professional in the industry, in the barber industry. He's my barber, even though he hasn't cut me up in like weeks now, and I look like fucking up right now. That's why I'm wearing the hat. It's because he's too big for me. He's too way up there. He said, "I don't got time for you. I'm over here cutting Post Malone."
I think the only celebrity I ever cut up was Mario Van Peebles. Mario.
What the hell is that?
He's like I think he's the director for Empire.
Oh, I've heard his name, but
I think right. Is he from Empire?
Sepa madres. Look it up. Look it up.
Put a picture up on.
True, right there. But
I don't even. Yeah, Mario Van Peebles.
True. But yeah, but no further introductions. We have a special guest. FreshFonzz is here.
You should have a little clapping button.
I got one.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Welcome to the podcast. I know. Thank you for doing this last minute because I know you're a little real busy guy. You know, it was. We appreciate
Honestly,
you
it wasn't
finding
even
time.
last minute. I just sat down and put the headphones on. To be honest.
Hey, cheers to that.
I mean, you do
But
live here.
I do like a podcast. I do like talking about different things happening in the world. And
We're just shooting this shit. I mean,
not a normal day-to-day talk. You know, it doesn't really ain't gonna be anything crazy.
yeah, we're just shooting this shit. Our other co-host, Lewis, is taking a leave of absence. You know,
He's sick.
He's on maternity leave.
Yeah, man. He's sick right now.
You know, he's he's taking some time for himself. You know how I be. When you gotta focus on yourself, and God willing, feels better. Feels recharged and comes back, and he's back on the podcast.
Were you sick?
No, he's not sick, but
he's sick of working.
Mental health is super important.
Yeah, he's drained.
Yeah, he's
He's
exhausted.
drained.
Men's mental health is super important.
No, for real.
Yeah, I mean, people forget about that. Where they feel like you guys got to grind every day, like 7 days a week, and then but everyone's different. Everyone's bodies are different, and yeah, that's why I told him, like, if he wants to take not come in, like, it doesn't affect us in a way where because for us we're just here to create content and stuff. We're not really about money value or we're not making anything off these for like 4 viewers. So
We got more.
yeah, I mean,
humble and humility, but
but
eventually,
Now we got more than 4.
yeah, we got more than 4, but I mean, we're not here to like
Come on, Nevin. We got
brag or
guests
anything.
here, bro.
Hey, I'm just trying to keep it humble, and this,
Humble beast. Okay, I see you.
Let's say
it might be 4 million,
Okay.
But yeah, thanks to today's sponsors, Polernmuchen. I don't know how to pronounce it. That's a German beer. I'm just drinking that. Usually we have the Zoas outside, but
We ain't get sponsored by Dwayne The Rock Johnson today.
well, let's talk about FreshFonzz. Let's see. Let's talk about
Introduce yourself, man.
yeah,
Let the people know who you are, where you come from.
where you
So
work,
I'm FreshFonzz. I
That's
go by Fonz, but
Instagram handle.
that's my Instagram handle, FreshFonzz. So fresh and then Fonz, FONZ, and then double Z. I'm 23 years old. Out of Chicago, Illinois. I kind of grew up in Rogers Park. Kind of moved all the way around Albany Park and just different neighborhoods, test out the waters, and then high school became kind of the growing period for me. And then we moved out to here in Old Town, where we've been living here since when
7 years.
my
now?
sophomore year. So that's what,
Yeah, we got 7 years.
about 7 years. That's crazy. So I was cutting hair at the time. I was at the crib for sure. It was like here and there. I think I got into barbering when my brothers took me to a place called Gabby's on Clark and Diversey. It's like my first ever barbershop. Then we went to like this place called, what was that place called name? Like Quisipes?
Yeah, it was like this. The $5 haircut shop.
It was like it was a $5 haircut. It was like back in, man, I was 12 years old. I don't even know how long ago that was, but it was like a $5, $5 holla. You had an older like Mexican lady. It was on like Kedzie and Lawrence or something like that. I don't even know where it was. California and something. I don't even know. But we used to go there when we were kids, and we get like $5. Our parents would give us $2 for a little tip. It was $7. And it was honestly, like, I think back to it, it was pretty decent for $7. It was pretty good for $7.
True.
And well, like that was my whole experience with the barbershop in the beginning. And I think the first glimpse of a barber I got was when I was in like 5th or 4th grade. When I had like super long hair, it was like down to my like shoulders almost. And I was like, man, I knew it was like because of my favorite catcher from Chicago Cubs, was like Giovanni Soto. I was like, man, I want to be like this guy. So I grew it out. And my mom was like, what? Like, bro, And I was like, Mom, I don't want to cut it. And she was like, we're going to barber. And then we didn't go to that Cosipa's place. We went to like some other place. And it was like, a Puerto Rican guy in there. Like, it was walk-ins only. It was no appointments back in the day. And it was like, what are you going to get? And I was like, man, I don't know. My mom's like, just shave that shit off. And I was like, I was like probably like 8 or 7. And I was just fucking crying because the bro was in my hair, bro. Yeah. And I was like, no. And then to the point, like, I remember, like, it was a fresh-ass lineup. It was like 180 degrees this way, 90 degrees that way. It was fucking, a beautiful curve. And super crisp. It was one of the best haircuts I got when I was a kid. And I was like, man, it's looking kind of decent. And then all the compliments and stuff going to school. And, coming out to, like, high school and all the other stuff, it was like when I first went to Gabby's, it was like as far as the most I ever paid ever, it was like $13, $14. But even then it was like, wasn't a lot, And, it was, shout out to one of my barber back in the day was Enrique Mendez. He goes under _Kike _Mendez. He was the first guy that cut my hair there. It was a recommendation. It was a walk-in only shop. Super classic traditional barbering. It was like you put your name on a chalkboard and you're next. It was down the assembly line.
Chalkboard?
Yeah, it was a chalkboard. You literally walk in, you grab a piece of chalk. It was like, nice and powdery. You write your name on there. You put like Alex Munoz, whatever. And then sometimes they were kind of having a glimpse of appointments where you would like put, like, let's say I'll put a K on there for Kike, and I'll like wait for him. Yeah. He got my haircut there. Like, I asked for him. And ever since then, I was like, man, I'm kind of hooked, And, my dad would give me like a couple bucks, $5 here and there when he had the chance, and I would save that up. And, I wasn't varsity sports, so like a lot of the time, like I would just save my money. I'll probably get a gator here and there, but then I would save my money to get a haircut, like every 2-3 weeks. So I was decently fresh, Like I gave the guy $20. It was $14. I gave him $20, whatever. I was here. They tip him, And he's like, one day, I'm a curious person, so I was like, man, what are you doing? He was grabbing clippers. Like, I was always fresh all the time. I'm like, man, like, what do you do there? Like, he's I'm taking number 3, number 2, and all this stuff. And I'm like, it's kind of decent. And I always ask those same questions. And so one day he was like, you ever thought about getting into it? And I was like, no, not really. Like, I'll try it because, why not? Yeah. So I remember I bought my first pair of clippers. It was like some Walmart clipper. I know it was the wall.
Blue one?
It was a blue one. It was a blue-white clipper with the black bottom, and it had the color guards. And that was my first ever clipper. It was like my first ever one. I had no trimmer.
Shit.
I just had that clipper, and that was it. Those shears that came with it, and the guards that came with it, and that was like at least like a dub. It was $20, And sometimes I would take it to school. I would like cut some hair over there, or like I'll just line people up or whatever. In school type shit.
But like, where are you doing it? Like
in the bathroom, bro. Like in the bathroom.
On some Vic Blend shit.
In the bathroom, it was either like in the gym locker rooms or whatever. Like,
oh shit.
But I remember, I think before that, no.
You got a cut too in school?
No, I never got a cut in school. I didn't even think about my hair, or like even like, barbering, like getting my hair at a barber shop until Fonz put me on for like Fonz and Walter put our brother put on for Gabby's because he was going there, and but that's how I didn't start until like college, like freshman year, like starting to going to like actually like take care of myself, or groom myself and stuff, like in that way where it's like more getting it more well done, and actually like liking your shit rather than paying the $5 and you're like, you hold a photo. It's like, can I look like this? Can I look like I'll show him a picture of Dean Winchester from Supernatural
with the mirror in the back, and you're just like,
you just want to fucking hold back tears,
bro. Man, that's the whole thing's crazy. So like, I remember my first haircut was on my dad. Rest in peace to him. But it was like, I gave him man, I didn't bowl because I feel so bad.
But it wasn't that bad.
It was a bowl. I gave him a bowl cut. Like, it was bad. It was the first time. Like,
but he doesn't have that much hair.
A bowl cut is like, when you have a straight, like, blunt line across it. Like, I mean, he didn't have that much hair, but, I tried to do a little taper in the back and make him look nice and crispy. But the other time, I didn't know, because clippers have an adjustable lever on them, and I never knew how to use it. So I was just slapping on guards here and there, and I thought it would work, and I never moved that once. So I just kept on bringing it higher, until the point, like, you know what, probably, like, I'm done. Like, I had a trash bag over them, like, it was bogus, and I stopped. So from that time, like, I kind of got discouraged or whatever, and I stopped, and I was like, looking at YouTube, and that was when YouTube was a big thing, like, YouTube barbering, like, the barbering world, like, barbering academies on YouTube was huge. It was, like, taking off, like, now I can tell, like, the pioneers in our industry right now. But, like, man, it was revolutionary when people started putting tutorials in. I was watching it every day. Like, I was, living and breathing hair, like, while in school and doing all this stuff. And then, I was working at Chipotle, like, when I was, like, about 16,
I remember.
And I was cutting almost at the same time, too, around 16. But I wasn't doing it fully.
Who were you watching on YouTube?
Big shout out to... Chris Basio.
Tune 45.
Tune 45. He was one of the first guys I've ever watched. And he actually I was actually on one of his videos.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, his first ever, like, tutorials, like, a long time ago. It was probably, like, 3-4 years ago.
Well, you're like a hair model?
I was like one of his hair models. Yeah. When we're staying here. And, like, it was when I started working at Urban Blades. So shout out to Urban Blades, too. But, like, I was working at Chipotle, and I was here and there, and I stopped cutting because I was, like, in varsity sports, and, like, you know what, I can't do it. I stopped. And I got into college, and I went to Harold Washington, and, like, I was a good student. I still had, like, a 3.4 GPA or whatever. Like, I was good, but.
That's really good, bro.
But it wasn't.
Just
like.
2.8.
In the Hispanic culture, like, you're kind of taught to, you got to get your bachelor's, your master, whatever,
You got to get a degree in something.
Degree in something, you know what I mean? And I was going to school, but it was like, surprisingly, I had a lot of spare time, And with that spare time, I was like either a gym rat, I was at the gym all the damn time, or I was trying to cut hair.
Where are the gains?
The gains are no more, but so back then, man, like, when I was like 18, like, that shit was on point. Like, it was on point for sure. For sure. Like, Chipotle got me on stand 10.
Cuadrado.
10,
Bro, you're telling me, man.
Portion control at its finest. I was shot cupping 4 ounces of chicken every hour. I was in it.
That 80 grams of protein.
Bro, I was way past 80 grams for sure.
You was counting macros like a motherfucker.
I was counting nothing. I was maxing every day. I was like, this shit's free. Fuck it. So
it's free. Hey, why is your C7 so bad?
Why the C7's all fucked up right now? Who the fuck's throwing shit?
So when I was in college, I was cutting hair at the time too, and that's when I kind of got a feel for it, like legit. Like, I feel like in barber we use almost all our senses, and like I began to like kind of hear noises and feel different things, and And I was like, man, it's kind of cool. And that's when I got into cutting my brothers up. You know, they were my models every 2 weeks. You know, I didn't really have the, like, a lot of people had the luxury of cutting out other people, but honestly, like, my only luxury was having my 2 brothers. They got haircuts every 2 weeks. I just did a taper, then I did a fade, and do the same thing, taper, fade, and I wouldn't hardly ever cut the top because, like, that was something that wasn't my forte yet. And then, you know, and then my homies, some of my best friends from high school, you know, they're still all my best friends. They're like, you know, they're like, you know what, Fonz, like, bro, cut my hair. And I was like, say less. I had my whole setup here at the crib. I bought my own chair. Like, I saved the money from Chipotle. I bought my own chair. I had
The
my
red
own
one.
The red one. That one I gave you, no?
Shout out to Fonz. Yeah.
Like the red one.
Yeah,
And
Are you using it or not?
I use it here and there.
Yeah, you cut your dad's hair or something.
My brothers mostly.
Brothers mostly.
Yeah, man.
and it's super sick to be able to do that. And like, I had a whole setup. It was super dope, you know? And that was like the humble beginnings. And I was like, man, it's kind of decent. I was cutting out for free. Like, it was nothing. It would take me like $5, $10, whatever.
Yeah, you were cutting my hair.
Yeah, I was cutting your hair too. So I was kind of like, a lot of people, like, slowly I progressed into like cutting different people and stuff like that. And, you know, Chipotle was getting kind of tough. So like, I ended up quitting because I hated it. You know, like, it was badly managed. The people were awesome, don't get me wrong. But it was a lot of work for a lot of nothing.
So little pay.
Yeah. And, you know, like, it sucks because Chipotle has that one thing where if you're new, you get paid higher. If you're old, you still get the same shit. And I was, you know, I was old, technically, but I was busting my ass every day. And I was like, you know what, screw that, you know? And then I was like, you know what, like, let me stop working at Chipotle and let me at least try to focus on cutting hair a little bit more, right?
Which is your passion.
Right. For first, it was a money thing. You know, it was a money thing because, well, I remember one day this guy named Jonathan, and he's like, comes to the crib, and one day he gave me $60. You know, I would charge nothing. It was $5. Just give me $5. I cut your hair, whatever.
What year was this?
This was like 2018 in me, I think. 2018, maybe 2019. Damn. So I was, or maybe even 2017.
Cheers to that.
It feels so long.
It feels like so long. So like, when that happened, I was like, man, this is kind of dope. Like, $60 is not bad. And like, for like at least 2 hours, like, it was decent. You know, it was super decent. And I was like, all right, cool. But then it got to the point where like I had to find a new job. So I ended up working at H&M, and, you know, like,
working retail,
corporate shit. You know, like, it's awesome for the first time because it's a new job and you're here and there. And once I got a year in, I just hated it. And, you know, it was the same thing. Sometimes it would be poorly managed, and you know, and then people started to leave because like they were finding new jobs, and it kind of like inspired me a little bit because during that time when I was at H&M, you know, like, I got really into cutting hair, and that's when Chris Bosby cut my hair, and I invested money into my first class. It was like $50, you know, right there at Urbane Blades. You know, I had an opportunity to talk to Darren Roca, the owner there, and you know, we ended up chatting it up, and he was like, man, what are you doing? I'm like, man, I work at, you know, retail, H&M, but, you know, I'm cutting hair too, you know? And that's when Instagram was popping off, right, for everybody, barbers, all that.
What year was this, 2018?
2018 maybe.
Okay.
And Instagram just started popping off for barbers, you know, people started making videos and pictures, and everything. Yeah. The quality got better. And that's when I made my first, you know, like move to Instagram. You know, that's when I'm like, man, what kind of names would I come up with? You know, like, I like Fonzz because, you know, I wanted to use my family nickname. Would have been kind of dope because, you know, my family called me P. And that was like when I was a kid, you know. Not a lot of people know that, but, you know, only family, like, people, you know, it was either Pikingo or Pikis or Pickle or P. But now it's like P. You know, it became an evolution. You may want to call it
the P word.
Literally the P word, you know? And I was like, you know what? I mean, I like Fonzz, you know? And
was it because of the movie or because?
Because I mean, I had like, my hair was slick, like in high school.
Like Fonzz?
Yeah, like Fonzarelli type stuff.
Well, you always wanted slick back hair.
I have always wanted slick back hair, but it was funny because, like, I was wearing my hair down in high school, and then one day I grew it out, and I wore my cap. I wore my baseball cap to school, and my hair like accidentally kind of slicked back, right? And there was a girl there that like, I mean, she hardly talked to guys or whatever, but she was super cool with everybody, you know? And we sat at the same lunch table. And one day, like, I took out my hair, like, brushed my hair back. And she was like, Fonz, your hair looks really freaking nice today. And I was like, what the hell? Like, she never does that, you know? And I was like,
I love you.
for real, like, damn, like, me, like, my heart kind of like, oh, shit, like, shit. Like, and I'm like, this is kind of decent, you know? Like, people were complimenting. I'm like, and ever since then, like, I slick my hair back all the time. Like, I'm, you know, I just put water in it and call it a day, you know?
Oh, God.
And, what was that? Freaking, yeah, so at the barbershop and stuff, like, after H&M, like, I decided to go to barber school. You know, it was...
Nice. So you got your name.
So I got my name. It was fresh. So I was like, you know what? Let me put Fresh in front of it. And then FreshFonzz just kind of roll with it. And then someone already had the FreshFonzz tag.
Oh,
so
shit.
That's why I added, like, another Z to it. Only because, like, I just thought people were sleeping on me. So I was like, let me add another Z to it.
You
and let me,
had
like,
too much, yeah.
You know, add the Z's to it. Like, oh, man, these people are sleeping on me. So I added FreshFonzz. And from there, like, I started posting my work. And I think still on my page, I still have, like, my beginning stuff. Like, I mean, as of recently, like, I deleted a lot of different things.
Just a revamp.
That I didn't like.
You can archive them, too.
That I didn't like.
True.
Oh, I'm trying to do that. And that I didn't like, but I love when people see the evolution into it, like, stuff like that.
Wait, just a question. What made you decide over, you know, community college? I know you said, you know, after seeing that that one guy give you the $60, but when was it when you looked into, like, barbering school and like community college, well, school in general, that made you decide that you wanted to do barber, you know, be a barber school rather than, you know,
community college?
Yeah.
The community college, like, don't get me wrong, it was cool. I met a lot of cool people, but it just wasn't for me. Like, I went there every day. I felt like I was just going just to go.
Yeah.
And there was no passion. I wanted to go for engineering. I love, like, breaking things apart, putting things together, and then just talking to people at, like, different events and meetings and stuff like that. Like, they were just talking like it's just a desk job, and I was like, that kind of sucks. You know, I thought we'd be. One of my favorite things is Marvel. Like, one of my favorite movies is, you know, the first ever Iron Man. You know, like, I love that. Like, well, how you, like, took everything apart and put it back together, and, you know, that whole military thing. I wanted to get into, like, military engineering because that was, like, one of the things that, like, caught my attention. But, you know, it wasn't as, like, also in a Hispanic family, like, becoming part of the military is kind of hard for them. So I didn't want to do it. So I was like, you know what? Let me just do regular engineering. It's kind of broad. And then people were telling, like, it wasn't the route to go. And I went to a point where, like, what I knew it wasn't for me was when I got into, like, calculus 3 or something like that.
Shit.
And that was, like, I was solving for imaginary numbers. And once I hit that day, when I was solving for that, I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, when am I ever going to use this in life? You know?
I remember
Maybe some people use it, don't get me wrong, but they're in a way better, like, you know.
Rocket shit.
Yeah,
They're at NASA and, like, working with Tesla right now.
SpaceX and shit.
Yeah, I
Like-
couldn't even do calculus. I remember in high school, our counselors, they made us, they made me, like, take a calculus, one because of, pre-cal, and I remember they made me take it because they're like, oh, well, you need it, you should take it because, you know, it's gonna help you or something when we look for colleges and shit. And it was senior year, and it was the dumbest thing ever. I remember just passing it with a D, with just passing with the D, because our teacher was just like knew we were failing all of them, but he just gave us a D because we were there every day.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
And then next semester I ended up failing because he was just like, oh, I thought you were you used to be, you know, quiet back there. Now you're over there and, like, fucking around saying jokes in the back and shit. I'm like, at this.
I just had to let the time fucking pass.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, pre-cal. I mean, even math in
pre-cal
general is hard.
And so once I got that, like, I was like, you know what? Stop. I'm gonna stop. And I dropped out. You know, I dropped out of the calculus class for sure. But I love the chemistry class. Like, my teacher there was super, like, she was dope as hell. Like, I love when teachers like that. Like, we, like, talked about. Also, my English teacher too was super cool. Like, he wrote his own book. He had a couple books out, and he's like, his class was all about, like, conversation and how we, like, can communicate with each other better. And our chemistry class was, like, very interactive. Like, people were talking to each other. We had our own groups, and, you know, it was super dope. So, you know what? Let me just keep that. And let me finish that. So I ended up just finishing those. And then, you know, once I H&M, like, when I stopped working there, it was like when I was at pretty much barber school, because I saved up enough money to like be able to kind of sustain myself. And well, the turning point at H&M was like, I remember one day it was wintertime, and it was 2 weeks. I worked a couple hours. I only made like $80.
What?
2 weeks, $80.
Oh, it's because you're doing what, part time or?
No, I was there full time. Like I was there like legit. Like I was there. Like I told him, like, oh, man, I'll work.
Because winter's kind of like
winter's always hard,
like
but
peak, like holiday season and shit.
Yeah, but I told him, man, I'll work. Like give me all the hours you want. Like I'm down. And I didn't get shit. Like it was $80, and then also during the time too, like so I speaking to Darren at Urban Blaze. He's like, hey, like we need a walking guy for our shop, and this Urban Blaze right here on Orleans and I forgot what the other street's called, but I think it's Orleans and Oak, and it's one of the best premier like veteran black owned barbershops in the city. They've been all over like different publications and everything. It's a dope shop.
Then it's also in like around very like black focused community that like they used to build up here in like Cabrini Green, and where we were around and stuff, the old town before people started getting more gentrified. But that's crazy. I mean, I just seeing that they're still there and then they're still like thriving.
And it's like it's crazy because like he offered me the job. He offered me like there's some barbers out there that are unlicensed stuff, but that's okay.
I mean, it starts like that off.
It starts like that
because I remember when we used to go to like get our $5 haircuts back then, and there would be like it'd be like a Albanian lady, a Russian lady. They used to cut her hair, and I remember one time it was like on a Western or something. I'm pretty sure she had like her certificate, but like just like how. Just the quality wise, it was just horrible. I remember just getting, you asked for like a 2, and then she'll mess it up. There was no really things like what it was like in 2000s. Like there's nothing that we knew about now, or it's like there's tapers or people did tapers. I remember before it was just kind of like the
square sideburns,
the square sideburns. Yeah, no shape up. It's kind of like whatever that came out from the magazine, like don't mess with Zohan, like whatever came out of the catalog book or something.
Yeah.
They just picked one of those.
Kike was the first person that introduced me to the taper. And I was like, man, this is crispy as fuck. It was a blowout. Yeah. Oh my, this is crispy as hell. So ever since that, I got a taper.
Kike, when he used to go to Gabby's and stuff, Kike had a hard time doing my hair.
Bro, our hair, all of our hair is hard, bro. No matter what barbershop we go to, like, everyone tells me your hair is hard.
Why is hair hard?
Hispanic, like kind of coarse hair now.
So the thing with like hair, like, so going leading up to barber school, right? Like that's a good segue to that. But barber school, like I said, like when I was in barber school too, I was also working, and then from H&M, it was one day I took walk-ins on a Monday, and I made like $300-$400 in one day, and I was like, fuck H&M. I made $80 in 2 weeks. Yeah, so fuck that. So that's when I quit. That's when I quit, and I told Darren, like, hey, I'm going to school. If you're giving me this opportunity now, like, I promise you, like, I'll come in, I'll do my, I'll work, I'll put my hours, like, I'll grind. You know what I mean? And he's like, you know what? Luckily, he gave me a chance. He like gave someone that's ambitious and trying to grind like a chance, and I'm like, let's get it. Yeah. Before even that shop, I went to like a place called First Class Barbershop, and my dad was telling me like, why do you want to get into cutting hair? And he's like, just cutting hair, and I was like, man, like I like it, like it's pretty dope. And he always had like a monetary value to it, but he like always made sure that like we like it, like we liked what we do, and we had some kind of passion for it. And I was like, man, I like it, like, but also like the money's there too, like that. But I was back then too. It was like $20-$25 a haircut, or even $15. And because I was new, I was commissioned, so I wouldn't get like 40% of that.
The commish.
And I worked at this place called First Class Barbershop, and I was like thinking like it's gonna be high end, like I'm about to get in there, like always start working. But it was a grind. I only worked there for like a week, and my first client there, like man, I was fucking shaking and all that shit. But this guy was like, he was a dick. Like, I don't know, like, I didn't like it. I was like, I didn't like the vibe of the place. I had to travel so far. And
Wait, the first customer you had, or
the barbershop that I was at.
Oh, where
like it wasn't Urbane that was at. Like I was Urbane more like fully, but this place called First Class Barbershop. Like I don't know. It was just because I was just new and I just didn't like it.
you weren't comfortable in that setting where
yeah. Like it was like even especially with my first client being like that, I was like I just don't like the environment. You know. I mean, maybe now is a whole entire barbershop now. Because I mean, I see their stuff. Like I still follow them to stay, and it's like a good top level barbershop now. You know.
Yeah.
And
but you say with the environment, it was not really to say it was like a bad environment, but it was something that you weren't accustomed to, or maybe it's depending on your personality. You know, there's everyone like every barbershop is gonna have a different personality. Yeah. Like whenever you go, you know, you go to like a black owned or Puerto Rican, like the vibe is different. But I mean the artistry and like the craft is still gonna be the same. Like
That's the thing. Like, I mean, I was still trying to understand like what goes behind it. So when I was at Urbane and I was going to school, like, cause I was already like in it, cutting hair. Like I was already kind of somewhat decent. You know, it was passable. You know, and once I got to school, they were like, whatever cause they basically already thought that I knew how to cut hair. Cause I came in and I told them like I already have my equipment. Like I don't want to buy more equipment and more shit that I don't need. You know. So I'm like, can I just use my stuff? They're like, okay, cool. Like we just give you a discount on all that stuff. I'm like, perfect. You know.
But that was because of you also
investing. I
invested in my stuff. You study on your own time. Because I remember that was the only reason why I asked you for haircuts when you started doing my dad's. Because I'm like, I remember I would go to Gabby's. I would go to Kike and stuff, but I remember I would never have enough money, or I would always didn't really think of the necessity of paying top dollar, like for a good haircut when my hair is kind of hard to deal with and stuff. So that's why I started asking you for haircuts, because I'm like, you know what, at this point,
I'd rather just have my brother deal with it.
Yeah, I was like, I'll trust him enough that like at least if you don't line my shit up horribly wrong, then it's totally fine. So
and that's the crazy part, man. Like with school as a whole, like with the barber industry, like school as a whole different, and like I hate it. Like I hated it with a freaking passion.
You hated barber school?
Barber school.
Well, is it competition or is it like a cash grab?
It's not really kids. It's not really cash grab. Like honestly, like it's crazy, bro. Like barber school is almost the same thing. It was like almost the same thing, like H&M or Chipotle.
Oh shit!
It was very similar. So, but the thing is, like with barber school, we're required 1,500 hours. Yeah. And it's 8 hours a day if you go full time. And well, it was all the way in like the west side on Madison Street and like kind of towards Laramie, and it took me like an hour and something to get over there by train. So I would have to wake up from here, travel all the way to the west side, and get there by like 8. The latest we can get there is like 8:10.
Shit.
And I would have to wake up from here like at 6 o'clock, and then go all the way over there and make it by 8 at least. And then after I got out of school, I had to go travel pretty much all the way back to go to H&M or whatever when I was still there to like go back to work. But I mean, I quit H&M over there. But even then, like I would have to go from here all the way to Urbane to go cut.
Shit, man.
So that was a grind, bro. Like I'll get out of work at like 9, I'll come back home, I'll eat or whatever, go back to sleep and then repeat. Like, and well, yeah, like the instructor, we had an instructor there, like Miss Youngblood. She's super dope. Like I know she doesn't have Instagram or anything, that, but Miss Youngblood was probably like one of the best instructors like I've ever met. That's for sure. Like she was super kind. She was super passionate in what she did. She like helped everyone pass their state boards. Like she was like on top of it. Like she loved that shit, And then we had another instructor. It was one of her best friends. His name was Mr. Wilson. Rest in peace to him too. So while we're in school, like I got in there and man, like barber school, man, is all barber love too. It's like when you meet your homies in your class, type shit. So like we had a our class was dope, man. Like everyone was super cool with each other. Like everyone, like man, we hung out after school. We went out to eat together. Like it was dope, man. Like it was super sick, and like we all learned together. And we had days where we can cut each other up. We just let each other color up. And that was the time like I didn't even go back to the barbershop. You know, I didn't get a haircut at the barbershop anymore. Like everyone was using me as a model or whatever. I'm like, go ahead, dude. Like I'll cut you up. You cut me up.
So there was more like a community because you guys are all focused on one thing.
We had
mostly.
a goal, you know. Like everyone had the same goal.
Yeah,
like we wanted them to finish.
Because it's different from community college. Because a lot of people are. I mean, like are not really sure what they're going to. They're just trying to finish their gen eds.
Yeah.
Or they're coming. They're coming back from having a kid or something, or or something that's going on. They're trying to get at least good grades to go to a big school or university and stuff. Because it's a good option. But I remember being at Harold, it was very, or just community college in general, everyone's very focused on what they're doing. They'll go in to just do their stuff and they'll go out. It's way different from
It's very singular.
Yeah, singular. Not because from my perspective, I'm pretty sure just people just want to do their shit and get out.
In and out type.
Like
they're
people,
paying so much money for it anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it'd be different for university and stuff because university everyone's kind of like,
more fratty.
More fratty and stuff. So I never got to experience that because that I'm kind of glad because that wasn't really
your thing. Yeah, no, I get you.
Move.
Like the same thing for barber school. It was like super dope. Everyone was dope as fuck.
Everybody's like super.
So like it's everyone was like it's dope because you find all walks of life. Even until now, like I still see all walks of life too. Like barber school, man. Like we had a couple people that there were that went to jail and then got out. Honestly, like just talking to them and like understanding their stories and stuff like that. They're literally one of the best people I've ever met.
Shit.
Like by far, like I had one guy, man. Shout out to also Raphael. He's homie, man. Like he came in there
Day
like
one
like
shit?
No, he actually came in like kind of later. But man, like he told me his story. Like he went to jail and stuff. They got out, but he's also doing he's a carpenter, like a contractor, and like before, like I think he got his license like in jail. I think like
damn
for like cosmetology or something like that.
Cosmetology,
but he wanted to get his barber license. He came in there. Man, this guy was super cool, man. He was a strong, the big dude. Like bro, he looks kind of hood, but. Man, this guy walked in the door, shook everybody's hand. You say, how you doing? Like, how's doing? You come up to me like, yo, Fonz, how you doing? Like, how's the shop? How's everything? And then when he leave, he'd be like, yo, have a good day. Like, have a blessed weekend and all that. I'm like, bro, this guy's the most nicest dude ever. Like, I would have never thought, like. Humble. And super humble man, dude. Like, he was super dope. And as everyone in there, too, like, they're all humble dudes. Like, and the fact that we all have the same kind of passions, all different stories, but we all had some similarities. It was super sick to hear, and it was a barber, like it was a brother thing. We all had to go through the same 1,500 hours.
Shit.
And school was crazy. My school year was crazy, bro. Like, so that's why it's like rest in peace, Mr. Wilson, because he passed away like during my year. So he literally got hired, had a couple months. It was dope, man. He was a cool guy. Very stern dude, but he helped me like become disciplined barber. Like he made sure like I wasn't too getting ahead of myself, but also making sure like I was in line with pretty much like with the trends in the industry, like schooling and everything. Like he made sure I was on point. That's and good. He taught me a lot of stuff like with cutting hair and everything. Like it was also because he saw something in me too, because I was super passionate about it. And the first couple months I was at school, like I was there every day on time, like all stuff, And he saw that. He's like, man, I'm going to teach you everything I know. And I took everything away from that. And, I put it into the stuff that I do today, And, when he passed away, it was pretty much downhill from school, Sheesh. Because it was hard for Miss Youngblood because that was her best friend, like that was her, like her, that was like freaking Batman and Robin type thing, like Sheesh. That was her sidekick, and she had to go through that, but also manages big school with almost 40 kids, like it was crazy. Like, shit. And, it's hard in barber school because, people don't trust students, and all the time the only time we had to cut each other up was, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And, the curriculum got kind of shut down and we were all behind and, administration was kind of like, you can't cut each other up no more, and like, it was just crazy, and to the point where like we didn't have any instructor no more, and we found an instructor, and shout out on his name is Juan. I think his Instagram handle is like the best barber in town. I think.
Shout out to him.
And man, he was dope. He was super cool, man. Like, and you know when I started cutting hair too, like he would always like come next to me, like watch what I'm doing, because I was always like watching videos, and I was always doing this, and well, it's true. It's the truth. You know, like I'm not like trying to boast or anything, but like I was watching videos, I was trying to do different techniques and trying to do it all, you know. And he was like, you know, I always asked him questions during like classes and stuff like that, and he saw that, and he's like, you know what, you know, when people don't want to like do classes, like, do you want to do stuff one-on-one? And I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And then the first thing he told me was, do you want to, like, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna have to pretty much forget everything you learned and just take it all in. And I was like, say less. And I'm like, go ahead. And I was like, say less, do it. Let's do it. And sometimes you take me one-on-one. He's like, hey, try this, try that. And like, do this, do that. And I was doing that one-on-one stuff, like, changed the way I thought about cutting hair, changed everything. Like,
so Juan really inspired you.
He actually really, like, I mean, I get inspired by everybody, like, right. But there's some people that like I can take away one nugget from them, and that like changed my whole career.
Added to your little sauce you're making.
So like when you said about hair, you know, like what makes hair so difficult? Like what he told me was, it's not hard. It's hair is hair, no matter what it is. You know what I mean? He's like, what changes is if either it's thick, it's thin, if he's thinning, if he's balding, or whatever. That what changes. He's like, but the numbers don't change. So a number one on you is still going to be a number one on someone else. But when it becomes to hair textures and hair densities and different hair problems, then it changes. So it made me rethink of how I look at hair. You know, like I wasn't scared anymore to attack anything. It was more so like, how can I attack it? You know what I mean? So like, I know the what. I know to put the number one in there, number two. But then I would do, you know, with the 1.5 go, you know, if I, stuff like that, you know. But, and he also taught me, like, when it comes to that, like, do everything you can, right? Do all your steps. And then from there, take a step back and look at it from a distance. Because from a distance, that's when you can really tell everything else. And then use your mirror. And I was like, shit, fuck it. And from there, like, I just kept on learning. And he was like, it's not, so he's like, sometimes if you're having trouble, it's not what you see. It's not what you put in there. It's what you see. You know, you can see. We can look in your mind, because haircutting is an illusion. Blending fades, all an illusion. You know, it's how to manipulate hair in a way where it all looks blended, or it becomes from light to dark. You know,
wizards and shit.
It's crazy, like how we can change someone's kind of perspective on themselves, or change someone's confidence or someone's day, and make it positive, because we created. We kind of technically did a magic trick on him, you know, like an illusion. And, you know, once all that stuff happened, like when he left, it sucked, because I was like, man, like, he was one of my mentors, you know.
Wait,
like,
Juan left?
Yeah, Juan left because of other issues, you know, all the problems in the school and stuff like that. But, you know, it's, you know, when life hits you, it hits you, you know. Yeah. So he had to leave, so sadly, he left. And so all of us, like all the barber brothers, you know, we were just trying to teach each other, you know, like, as much as we can learn or whatever, we put on videos and all that stuff. And man, I got to the point where I was kind of stressed out, and you know, sometimes like we didn't have a chance to eat or whatever. And it got to that point where like,
hell no.
You know, like sometimes like I was even booked out at school, like, because I mean, that's saying I was good, but I took care of the people that walked in the door, and sometimes the people that walked in the place would be like, "Yo, let me get funds," or they're super picky and they'll pick me because I guess I can handle it. You know, and I was like, got to the point where like it was too much, and I was like, man, like, can you let my guys, you know, do it? Like I'm not saying I learned enough, but I was also like, I want to share with other people, like give them a chance, you know, like if they need my help, then I help them, or if they need someone else, they'll help them. But like I told them, like, man, I want to focus on my book. I want to focus on like getting all my other stuff prepared, because I mean the big thing is the state board test, you know, and I was like, nah. And I got super stressful and all that stuff like that. And like, that's some inner stuff that, like, you know, I don't want to talk about. because it's just a bunch of other shit. But you know, when I was on the point of like brink of leaving, that's when they opened up King's Barber Studio out there on Wrigleyville. It's on Clark. Right now it's on Clark in School, and that's where I work at currently. So it's been kind of a journey, you know, like.
Yeah.
So when so from there, like I told, you know, Urbane, I was like, hey, I'm gonna leave because it's a big opportunity, and that's when, Kike ended up opening that. He ended up pretty much founding that place, right? He found it, co-ran it, and he's like, that's like I said, my Instagram was popping off, and he saw my Instagram. He's like, hey, I'm opening up this place by Wrigleyville. And I see, like, you know, you're in it, you know? And he's like, I got a spot for you. And I was like, for reals? You know, like, I had so many different options, and people want to, like, they were trying to recruit me at, like, Platinum Phase and all this stuff like that. And I was looking at options. And I was like, man, I want to stay at Urbane for a little while because I like that place, you know? And then that ended up popping off, and I was like, say less, you know?
So how long was it when like, you got asked if you wanted to, you know, grab a spot at King's? Is that when you were still in school, or
I was still in school too. Like it was like school was kind of it was a crazy journey, but like I was still in school, and
Did you finish school?
I left at 1,200 hours, but I ended up finishing later, only because it was that stressful. Like. I felt like I couldn't finish 300 hours left. Like, it was crazy.
how many hours in
1,500 hours.
1,500?
And it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, when you're sitting there all day, sometimes you wouldn't even get a haircut, or we couldn't cut a chill up, bro. We're sitting there for 8 hours doing nothing.
Yeah, I feel like
looking at a book or looking at a phone, like nothing.
I feel like you're putting more hours in
Yeah,
than into becoming a cop.
Like, that is true. I mean, it kind of sucks, but I mean, we learn disinfection control. We learn everything. Like, I learn all that stuff. You know, like
disrespect.
I make sure everything's on point, on clean. Like, I make sure all that. You know, but it sucks because, like, I mean, like luckily I was busy enough in school, like where I made enough tips where I could pay off my tuition. You know, like I saved my dollar bills, my $2-3. Sometimes we get $5. I'm like, oh shit, you know, I can get food and shit.
Thank you, bro.
And I'll pay it off. And from 200 hours, I was working at 1,200 hours. I was working at King's. Before that, you know, before the 12-hour period, and that's when I left. And then I was like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of school. Like, I want to try to give it. I want to at least give it a year. You know, give it a year of my full grind and figure it out. You know, so I left school, and I was working at the shop. You know, I was kind of under like an apprenticeship kind of thing, because technically, like, 300 hours before you're like 1,500 hours, you can go out of the shop and it'll give you the hours. And I was working there, like, bro, I was there because it was barely opening the shop. You know, it barely opened, and it was 4 of us. It was, I think her name is Lena the barber. Lena the barber. She was the first one. She came all the way from Florida, bro. She drove from Florida all the way to Chicago, started a new life, and she was the first one in there. She knew Kike from a friend of a friend type shit. She drove all the way down there. I remember the first day we were there.
That's a big move.
Like, it was I remember the first day we were all working there, right?
Whole life.
The first day we were all working there, it was like the 4 people. It was Kike. It was his cousin Sal. Shout out to Sal, because as Sal Clipper Hands, he's been there since I was there, you know. And it was me, and then it was Lena, and it was just 4 of us. It was us, 4 stations, a couch, and a like old school freaking fridge with Cokes in it. Like
Una coca.
una coca. I don't
Mexican Coke? Mexican Coke?
It was
Or
freaking American Coke. It was kind of sucked. But, you know, it was us. And then we were there grinding it. You know, like, we were there like 8-10 hours a day, like trying to get as many walk-ins as we can. That's when we still didn't have freaking online employment stuff. That was all walk-ins, all cash. And, you know, I was there every day. I was Monday to Sunday, you know, 10 to 5, 10 to 7, 10 to 8, whatever. You know, I was there till the end, you know. And it was either me, Sal, me and Kike, or us 3, or even with Lena. Like, we're all there, you know.
Yeah, because you're the ones promoting the business itself.
Yeah. So, like, we created a stand there. We're doing all of this stuff, and I saw it kind of grow. And you know, we added a chair, added another chair, and I was also part of the hiring process and I wanted to like get involved with stuff. So I ended up like competing at different shows at the Midwest Barber Trade Show. And shout out to Joe Flannel too. He's the creator of that one and all the different things, different shows, man. Like the Mad Barber Phase, went to all of those.
How do you even like get into shows? Is there like a process, or is there like?
Anyone can
up?
really go to shows. All depends. Like, I don't know. The only show you really can't get into is the American Beauty Show, and that's like only licensed, cosmetologists and barbers for that. So, but all other shows, like anyone's welcome to go to that to check it out. There's like vendors and all of the stuff there, competitions, and like once with Kings, like I was going to all those. I competed, coming for the student one-on-ones because that was like my first ever art competition. Like I was still a student, man. Like. I was still doing passable haircuts. I wasn't that good yet, and I didn't place, and I was like, let me grind it out again, let me try it, and so I kept doing it. I kept pushing it. I went to different classes. I invested like a lot of money into it, and until we got like a full 10 people barbershop, and it was juking, man. Like we're busy every single day. That was just year one. Technically year two is like the COVID period.
Oh shit!
Right. So year one was like, I think we did like year one and a couple months and then COVID. So year one, like the barbershop was actually sold like 2-3 months in. To shout out to Cuts the Flame. His name is Jose Avila, bro. Like everyone knows who Jose Avila is from, like in Cicero, Berwyn, bro. He used to work at Gabby's. He was actually cutting hair next to Kike. Right. Cutting next to Kike. He cut my hair like twice. Bro, honestly, it was one of the most crispy haircuts I ever got. In my entire life. Like in my life, bro. Yeah. This man, like I pray for this dude, like because the amount of talent he has, but the amount of humility he has too. He's super humble dude. Like his work speaks louder than him. He doesn't talk at all at the shop, even though he owns it, but he doesn't talk a lot in the shop. Hardly ever does. But his work, man, like I don't know how the hell he does it, but man, I still watch this guy to this day. As much experience I do have behind the chair too, I still watch the dude cut because it's impressive. It's an art for sure. Like he makes it look. He's pretty much like a Gordon Ramsay of the barbering world. But honestly, like he's so undervalued in our industry. Sometimes I want to push him out there, but he just likes being behind the shadows sometimes, like almost like a silent assassin. But his work is top tier. He can compete against some of the best in the world. He can go head to bro. He outcut anyone that I know.
Well, it's kind of like bringing up like if it's like knowing someone that it's like good in sports and stuff, and he's like like a rec league or like a baseball league and like adult league, and he's like this guy's good to be something more or
yeah. Like I mean he's 30 now, and you said like man I wish I started early started like cutting hair early, bro. Most of like starting a shop early. It took him a while to get to that point, but he's at a prime location now and all that other stuff. And like I said, like I'm also trying to help him to get his name out there a little more in the barbering world because it's huge, But in the inner community in Chicago and Illinois, people know who he is. If you get a haircut by him, like he's what we call a barber's barber.
Well, explain what's a barber's barber.
He's what we call a barber's barber. Like he cuts barber's hair. Yeah. Like us barbers, like we were picky and I was not, but he's the one that cuts up like the owners of other barbershops or people like barbers from other barbershops. Like he hardly has. He has his clientele too, but a lot of times he cuts my hair. Like he cuts all the people from the shop's hair. Like
so it's mostly like it's mostly like friends. Like basically, it's like close friends.
He cuts all the homies up. Like, but I say like barber's barber. Like he's the one that you go to for a wedding. He's the one too if you're gonna ask someone to propose. Like if it's a special day, you're going to Jose. I mean, I kind of rhyme, right? If it's a special day, you're going to Jose. Yeah. Like, and
it's a bar.
And it's bro. I'm telling you, he's top tier. Like top tier. And then his co-partner is Jose Davila. So
another Jose.
So his name Jose Avila, and he's actually his compadre is Jose Davila. Compa. And they're partners. They're first-time business owners. They're the owners of King's Barbers through Chicago now because once they sold the stuff, and once Kike sold the shop, and now they're the co-owners now, and watching them grow and watching the whole shop grow and watching all of us grow together, it's dope. And like, it's honestly like when people walk in there, like we have clientele from thru, a couple years back, when they first started and they see the growth. And that's when we started at $20 a haircut. Now we're at 40. And it's like they saw the growth. They respected that too. Cause they know like we're by far one of the top tiers barbershops in that area or even in Chicago, I remember when we first had Booksy, it was like we're doing reviews and stuff like that, and we're like second ranking underneath like Sweeney Todd, and Sweeney Todd is like honestly one of the top tier barbershops in the city. Like, and Sweeney Todd has been around for like years, under Booksy too. But our year one, like we're like 300 5-star reviews away from being top, and that's year one, and they've been around for a while. So it kind of shows that like the level of talent and the level of
coming for the throne,
right? Type. But then we ended up not having books anymore. We didn't have all of the reviews anymore, and then we went like changed to like Squire now. We have Squire now, and shout out to Squire.
Shout out to Squire.
Shout out to Booksy. Shout out to the other ones that we used to have to schedule listing and all that stuff. But yeah, we have Squire now and don't do the review stuff. But honestly, our word of mouth is probably one of the most, by far, the most important things ever. Like, our clients, I want to shout out to all the clients too. Like all of them are been super supportive and and all we do, and all we have
number one,
and all we offer, and they stuck by us ever since, and that's where like we started going kind of up our name and stuff like that, and then boom, like once we got into that whole scene, the world shut down.
Yeah, man.
Right, and well, we locked up the doors and everything, but we're doing backdoor haircuts,
So y'all were doing like freaking mob shit.
Yeah, like
fucking hiding from the cops, closing the windows.
Yeah, so like all that stuff, man.
I mean, everyone
making sure nobody was loud.
I mean, everyone was doing music. That. It was like a prohibition era. Like everyone's like either like everyone's going to their friend's house, like in their bubbles and shit, or like everyone's so precautious and stuff. But it's also kind of like. You need a way to keep the lights on and stuff. That's why it was so hard for everyone else, whoever was on unemployment. Those are the people that are like, shit, I need to find a way to get money or hustle or like do Uber Eats or some shit.
Yeah. That shit was crazy, man. So like
barbers, strippers, taxi drivers.
All that, man.
That's crazy too. Like even with COVID going on, people not even going outside. People still wanted a haircut to look good or feel good,
which is crazy, man. Like it's crazy because we still like during that time, right? During a 3-month shut period, like I didn't work only because like during that time it was serious. It was like because we were taking care of our dad to make sure he was good, and sadly he passed away from it. But it's just like. Like I wanted to make sure like we're decent. So like those 3 months I didn't work. I didn't want to go to work, meet all these people, and have it pass on early. Yeah. And we did everything we can to not have it. And like people were doing they were doing backdoor haircuts. So people would go to the back, over the back. They will still have their appointment. They will go to the back and come in there and still get their haircut, mask on and everything. And it's to the point where everything shut down. Like it was no longer like, bro, it was.
You can't go outside.
You get fined. You can't go outside. Nothing, right? Last one, we're like, oh crap! So it was like that was what 3-4 months.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then we started going back, opening doors and stuff like that. And that's when I first got back into it. I was like, man, I had to make money, and like luckily I saved enough money where it can get us by. And I was like, man, I gotta try to make something back. So I mean, luckily, like that's what I'm saying. Like the loyalty of our clients is top tier, and it's like when I wasn't working, like even clients would send me money. Because some of them were still working at home, and they would be like, "Yo, this was gonna be my 2-week haircut. Like, just take it, And the amount of respect I have for that too is like it's crazy, and it's like the amount of respect they have for me is awesome, and the fact that people still wanted their haircut during the pandemic is crazy because like we were all honestly barbers were so undervalued during the pandemic that like it got to the point like when Donald Trump was getting a haircut, and then it became important. Yeah, it's like I want my haircut now. I want this. I want that. And
what hair?
And it's crazy because we go to school. We go to school for 1,500 hours. We train to do all this and infection control, all this other stuff. And where's our credit?
Yeah.
We do all this stuff to make sure that the community is safe and stuff like that. But like now that you guys want a haircut and are looking shaggy, now we're important.
Yeah, but I think that
also like we didn't even get if barbers didn't have their own like taxes thing set up or nothing like that or whatever, like we didn't get no money, so I didn't get any money.
Well, it's kind of like how it is. Like if it's like you know, like people are like kind of like not self-employed, but like, you know, it's like I would say like it's like servers or bartenders and stuff, or like
the self-employment stuff.
Yeah, like they're really the ones hustling to make that livable wage, and because of they work so hard, and you know they'll see a good income, but it's also people like, you know, take advantage of that, where it's like, oh, let me get a free drink, or you know, or let me get some of this food, and then, you know, there's no tip or no, you know.
Oh yeah, that shit
like,
sucks.
Like I know there's America has a big problem about tipping and stuff, and you know, in other countries like outside there's no tip. It's like I think it's like whatever. I'm not sure if it's like whatever it is, like you it comes out of from the bill, like it's already like kind of like pre taken out, or I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it works.
Surcharges and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's not.
It kind of added.
Yeah, but people underlook that, like, you know, those are the ones that kind of like were keeping everyone on, like, you know, sane. You know, like That's crazy how like you know, you'd want that haircut, not because you're gonna go outside, but because, you know, you want to take care of your mental health, or you feel like you're not going crazy, or you're not gonna, or at least that you feel like you're there's some contact, even if it's like, you know, all like, you know, distance and stuff, and you know, with all safety measures and stuff. But I mean,
during that time, like it was fun to be a barber during that time. Actually, it's kind of weird because
like Russian roulette.
It's kind of weird to say, but it was kind of like Russian roulette, but like it gave us kind of the respect that we wanted and deserved, you know, because people also came in with shaggy haircut, like shaggy, you know, and they were like, man, just cut it off, man, please. And it's like, just do whatever you want. And one of the best things you can say to a barber is, man, just hook me up. And we got that all the time during the pandemic. And that was one of the most fun I've ever had cutting hair, like at a shop. You know, like it was, everyone's like, yo, do whatever you want to do this. And people were getting mullets and freaking crazy mohawks and crop tops. And it was like fun. It was fun as shit. And I was like, man, that's dope as hell. And you know, when I cannot do it, like it was super fun. Like
fucking girl get a mohawk.
Like it was so dope. It was so sick. And you know, they respected our craft. And like that was probably the highest tip rating I ever got ever. Like I was averaging like a $40 haircut, I was having like $80 to $100.
Damn.
And I was like, holy crap! Like what the hell is happening? So the respect was given to us again. And you know, I think a haircut was the first step into normalcy. You know, like people felt normal again when they got their haircut. You know, they felt alive. You know, when we showed them in the mirror, like I used to like the whole like, people weren't shaking their head no more. They were like, oh, thank God. You know, like I look normal. I look good. You know, like they were saying stuff like that. They weren't not in their head anymore. You know, and it was like, honestly, like that was probably one of the most touching feelings ever. Where like we had to interact with people like that and just change their whole mood. And that's like when the passion came in for me. Like when I started giving things, there was one thing, you know, there's one guy that I like listened to. His name's Ivan Suit, and he said either one, you charge full price or you give it away. And I began to understand that stuff when I started giving haircuts away. Only because I wanted to try new things, but also like there was some time where people would, you know, they didn't have enough or whatever. I don't know.
They'd be hesitant to, like, they will walk in, they're like, like they're not sure if they like understand like the
they don't understand the value of it too. So I began to like ask people, like my consultation is like at least 4 or 5 minutes long. So like I asked them like, what do you want? They're like, okay, like what are you trying to go for? Is your length or style you're worried about, or blah, 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 blah. Like, I go deep into it. And, you know, one of the things they always tell me is like, man, I never got a consultation ever like that ever. And I was like, yeah, it's your hair. Like, I want to understand, like, what do you want to do with it? Like, there's some things we can achieve and some things we can't achieve, you know? And I want to make you look as good as possible without making you look goofy or forcing anything. You know, like, because we're also professionals, you know? And there's some things that we can't do, that we honestly just can't. Like, your hair doesn't allow to do it unless you grow it out on a crazy amount and train it to do something. But even then, it probably wouldn't even look the same. You know, so there's stuff like that.
Something like where somebody comes to the shop and is like
they said, like
I want this haircut.
Right, with those pictures. Like, bro, like, I'd be like, I can probably get you to that point, but it's not going to look the same.
It's not going to look.
I'm not going to make you look like David Beckham. I'm not going to make you look like freaking Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. First of all, your hair is straight.
Right, like, this is afro. Like,
give me the Dean
can't
Winchester.
So,
give me that
when I got to, like, more of the passion, right, a lot of it was, like, the money. I was making good money and stuff like that. Like, honestly, the passion came, like, two years ago. Like, or maybe even...
Yeah, 2 years ago.
2 years ago, or maybe even, like, pretty much with the pandemic. And as of recently, like, a year ago, I had this one client came in, and he called the shop, and he has, was wanting a haircut and stuff like that. And so he, like, found my IG page, hit me up, he said, man, I remember we were first getting into, like, doing free educational classes at the shop. And
why were you doing the educational classes? Was it just kind of...
It was more so just promotional stuff and, like, kind of get our name out there like that. And honestly, like, I have a pretty good network, and, I communicate with people, and I got an opportunity to work with, shout out at Hanzo. They're one of the biggest shear companies in the country, and they're like, you know what, let's do a show, let's do a thing in there. And, I saw this one guy, his name is Trevor Moods at Taylor Fade. Shout out to Taylor Fade. I hit him up 3 years ago when I first started, right? And he was someone that I look up to. He's dope artist, dope person, And I was like, hey, I'm gonna see you in like 3 years. Watch. I even said
you sent them that?
Yeah, like, I'm gonna get you to host. Like, he was doing classes during the time. I'm like, yo, one day we're gonna collab and do a class together. And then turns out he was doing that class for Hanzo in Chicago. And they were looking for a location. And I was like, hey, I'm like, I don't know if I hit up, I remember, but I don't know if I hit up Trevor or Hanzo and one of the reps, And I was like, hey, like, we have a space. We can, I just gave him the whole spiel, like, we're Chicago-based shop, and, we want to be able to host you guys and do all that stuff. And we would have people in there, and, and it turns out Trevor shows up.
What you say? You a fan?
And
you a fanboy? You're like,
man, I was a fan. Like, it's awesome.
Sign my shirt.
It was awesome to meet.
I was the hair model.
You were the hair model.
Yeah, I remember.
And then it was dope to to meet him, but also like not only like to meet him as Taylor Fade, but also to meet him as Trevor. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I met him as Taylor Fade because how he cut Nev's hair, like, I respect that, and it's an inspiring thing to watch. Like, people cut hair and take a passion. He loves it. He has a passion for it. He loves it. And then when I got to talk to him as Trevor, that's when I like, this guy's fucking dope. He loves the industry. He's about it. He does free education. Like, man, the fact that they can do that and travel along the whole world and do that for free, it's sick. It's super dope that, like, people do that. And that's when we got into, like, branding ourselves, doing all the other stuff. And then what was I talking about? With the whole passion stuff. Like, I felt his passion too. And I was like, let me try his techniques and stuff like that. And then one day there's a guy that hit me up, and because we were looking for models during that time. And he hit me up like, hey, I want to be a model. I have a wedding. Like, I want to try this out. I want to try something new. Like, it's an important day for me and stuff like that.
Hell no, go to Jose.
Right. And I was like, same thing. I was gonna be like, go to Jose, But because I was telling Jose, and his name is JD. And I was like, hey, like, we should have like a lineup of models and stuff like that, like, just in case we do other classes. I mean, we've hosted other classes before, And he's like, yeah, just do it, So that guy was on the list, and when we had another class, and we picked another person other than him. Like, it was a second class when you asked him that question, like, can I do it for the wedding? And I was like, man, like, honestly, like, we can't do it that. It could go by somebody else. But I was like, you know what? Come in at this time. I'll take care of you. I'll make sure you're all good. We'll get it on point. And if you want me to try something new and something different, I would. Okay. So he walked in, bro. This man, I didn't even get a haircut. He didn't get a haircut since when the pandemic started, like when it was full.
Wait.
It was like a year or two, like almost
a year or two. He hasn't got a haircut.
Yeah.
So his shit is like
long. It was like to his shoulders, that thing. And he had a beard like
Lord Farquaad.
crazy, like a beard crazy. He's like, man, like I'm getting married to like the love of my life, that stuff. And I was like, man, it's dope as hell. Like how much, And I watched the whole constellation, And he was like, man, I just want to look super clean. This is nice for the wedding day, and like make sure I'm good. And I was like, And like, all right, I got you. Like let me. Can I told him like, can I just do me? He's like, sure. And I was like, fuck yeah, all right. And I gave him a nice clean, this kind of executive cut, this nice and clean and sharp, comb over. This he was just slick. I made sure I put some like product in there. And shout out to ASI Company. They're like a Michigan-based company. They just do organic products, super dope products. And I put some in there, and he was like, man, what's that smell? It's dope as hell. And I was like, yeah, these are organic products, and so and so. And I gave him through that whole experience. I gave him like a nice hot towel. I did a whole like shape up on his beard, make sure it was all decent, and like bro, like it was dope. Like I took a before and after and stuff like that. It's probably one of my videos on my page. And I turn him around and I show him the mirror.
He doesn't like it.
No, bro. Like he pretty much almost
started crying.
Almost, bro. Like he almost started crying, and freaking honestly, like I almost started crying.
You almost started crying,
bro. Like, I almost started crying with it because I'm like, damn, like that haircut was that impactful.
What'd he say?
He looked at him. He was like, man, I showed him a mirror, right? He was like, damn, that's crazy. And he just kind of just almost kind of broke down a little bit, man. And I almost kind of broke down with him because I was like, man, the fact that I was able to give someone that feeling,
before their wedding day.
Before their wedding day, and he's gonna take pictures, and he even sent me a picture of from his wedding and stuff like that. Like that shit's cool as fuck. Like
what he wore,
like I don't even remember, but I knew it was like the courthouse and stuff like that. It was like simple, but I mean like it's someone's day, bro. So, and I saw that, and from that day, like
they don't hit up Jose, they hit up Fonz now.
I mean, they still hit up Jose, but freaking, and he's like, how much I owe you? And I was like, you know what? You don't have to pay me.
What?
And I told him, like, you don't have to pay me. Like, thank you for, I just told him, like, thank you for letting me do what I do and being able to service you and being able to, like, help you for your day. And honestly, like, this being able to do that for you, was even worth more than the money.
So you gave him a comb over with a low fade, mid fade?
I think I gave him like a two and a taper. Just nice and clean. Just nothing crazy. He was an older dude, so like he's not gonna
older cat. So
yeah,
he
so
really care
like
about
usually, I gave him the whole spiel. I gave him I think I gave him a facial that day and everything. Like
you gave him the full.
That's a king treatment for us.
Treatment?
And that's worth like $100 for me.
Dang.
And either one or taking that $100 and call it a day, or two, I just gave it for free. So I just gave him the haircut, the whole experience for free, and he was like, now he's still my client till this day. I mean, he pays me, like he takes me because he always reminds me of that day, like of his wedding, and tells me how everything's going for him, and we have that relationship and stuff like that. But that's where like my passion really started to thrive because I like being able to give back to that and that one little feeling, like I loved it, the feeling of. Oh, why it became a passion? It was because passion.
Passion of the Christ.
Yeah, it was passion because of a feeling, right?
Yeah, you gave that dude that hair.
So it kind of made me understand like money wasn't really the thing. Cause man, because barbers make money, bro, and on a good day, like it's pretty good, and it got to the point where like money wasn't really. I mean, back then, we're kids, like we didn't really have much, and but now like barbering has been a blessing for for me and pretty much everyone around me because I was been able to kind of at least give someone an experience or provide and kind of just help when I could, and I can, and just by cutting hair, But for clients, for our people, that come in every day and pay us that money, like first it was about the money and get in and out, trying to make that money, but now, like, I'm trying to sell. Ever since that time, man, like, I've been trying to sell a feeling to somebody. Can I?
That's deep.
Can I sell? Can I sell more than just a haircut to somebody? So I try to take everything to, like, people say I'm extra as hell. Like,
it sounds like you.
You want more?
Yeah, we got 2 more.
Pásamela.
It sounds like you do, honestly, bro. Like, you say, I mean, the times your brother has cut my hair, you always, like, analyze it and check.
It's deeper. Yeah, it becomes.
And a lot of barbers don't do that shit. You just sit there and then they just cut it.
And
but I think that's okay though, because at the end of the day, it's like not everyone's gonna be into it, like, especially like in their job and stuff. I'm not saying like, there's a certain like level of professionalism I think you have to even cut hair and stuff, and like to make it look nice, but to go the extra step, I think that's when you start eliminating, like, who's really trying to do something different, and then just be at their chair and stuff. I'm not saying that's a bad thing or anything, but
yeah,
you can, people, like, if you're comfortable making a living where you are, then that's more power to you and stuff. But
not for real.
If you start seeing something different and that's out of like out of monetary value, I think that's a really good thing too. That if you can see more out of the monetary value, where it's not just about you. And I think maybe that instills from from our upbringing and from like our working ethics. From my dad. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like, during the pandemic, I think I'd say people were like, I was 21. Like, I wanted to move out and start something. So I said money, and I wanted to move out. We wanted to do all this stuff. I wanted to get it going. And pandemic happened. I ended up losing, like, I think I was only left with like $5K from, I think I said like $25,000, $30,000. But I only had $5K. I remember I had $5K in my bank account, and I was like, crap, And it's crazy because just working every day, like, that savings came back. It was coming back. I was like, man, that's crazy. Like, I lost it all, but I was able to kind of bring it back with this, appropriate, like, financial literacy, like making sure like my money was good, my budgeting was good. Because back then I spent money like crazy. I don't give a fuck. I was 21. I was going out to bars. That was the time when I was single. Now, but like the money stuff was like, man, it just kept on going. So, but now I'm smarter with it, making sure like I make more investments other than just purchases and stuff like that. Like, so now, like, the passion is like, I love it. Every time I cut a piece of hair, I know I can change someone's life, or I don't think I can change my life with anything. You know what I mean? So
That's
it came
good,
to that
man.
point,
That's
and it was
good.
like that passion came from a lot of things, and kind of also, like I said, like our upbringing is like, my dad always told us, like, be something or be someone in life, and during that period, those 3 years that I've been cutting hair, like, it's been a journey, and I kind of, it sucks because like I had like an identity kind of crisis, cutting hair. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to, like.
You're trying to find yourself.
Yeah, I was trying to find myself, bro. Like, it was kind of difficult. I knew like what kind of person I was, like, like, but like a lot of things kind of take over, and like just daily stresses or whatever it may be, and sometimes you feel like you're not enough or whatever it may be, and something you got to dial back in. It was a lot. It's a lot, and especially with, with our dad passing away during that time, it was like, that was a moment of like standstill. It was like, what do I do now? It's like the only outlet that I had was cutting hair. Like the only way, it was some kind of distraction, but I had my moments of grief and stuff like that, but like I still grieve to this day. It's still like a remembrance of something, but I was like, the reason why sometimes I cut hair was for him. And, like, it sucks sometimes like that I didn't get the opportunity to still cut his hair. You know what I mean? But it was like the times that I did, it was like perfect. You know, like and that was like the same thing, that feeling. You know, like it was like the same feeling that I want to give for him was to give to other people. You know, so like it's like stuff like that. Like I would even dye his hair, and it's like little things like that. And you know, sometimes I regret sometimes not doing it. You know, but you know, sometimes I just can't beat myself up for it because it was a weird period during that time because I was like trying to figure out a bunch of stuff out and
busy and stuff.
You know what I mean? I was beating myself up for stuff that like you know something I couldn't control or whatever. So
I do remember whenever my dad would our dad would come up to you and be like, Piquingo, ¿cuándo vas a cortar el pelo? And they were like, or ¿cuándo vas a pintar el pelo? Because our dad would he was already graying and stuff. He had like but he like
just for men coverage.
Yeah, we do the just for men, or we did the L'Oreal women's, you know, because it came more product in the bottle, so you had more coverage. But I remember him telling us like, so he would tell.
I remember one time he cheated on me. And I was like, man, that was kind of funny, and I was just like, but also like, like I remember like, man, what the like, you know, like why don't I just cut his hair, you know? But during that time, it was kind of hard because I was at the shop every day, and it's like sometimes I got home and I didn't want to cut hair. You know, like it's like
you want to keep work separate from
and I was like, damn, you know, like
want to even look at the clippers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And that was the time where I was cutting every single day, bro. I was hair, you know. And during that period of COVID and stuff like that, honestly, I kind of sometimes it's fuck you COVID. It's also like thank you because it gave me a reset. And like those 4 months, it made me really think like, what's the plan? Like, who actually am I? You know? And some people, I feel like during the pandemic, like even talking to clients, like some people either one, they benefited from it, or two, they kind of just stay the same.
Yep.
You know? And me, I'm always trying to like grow. I'm always trying to push, and I try to take things to the next level. And sometimes the flaw behind it is like I overthink, and I try to do extra stuff. But honestly, like that's probably one of the best attributes I had because not only one, I make sure everything's on point, and then when it comes to cutting hair, like I overthink it too. So it's like I make sure everything's detailed and everything. So, but during that time, like it was like I kind of had to reflect and make sure like I was doing it for the right reasons, and I'd make sure when I came back into cutting hair, it was like let me give it my all, but in a different way, and it became smarter investments, smarter moves. Working smarter, investing into my craft.
Yeah, man.
Taking classes make things easier for me. Like now, haircuts become so they're so easy now. Like I could probably do it with my eyes closed. But like
bet.
Like 45 minutes to me, like we do appointments for 45 minutes to almost an hour. 45 minutes it's enough. I could honestly sometimes I do haircuts in like 10 minutes.
Damn.
It's
not mine.
Wait.
Not mine.
Wait. 10 minutes?
Yeah, it'd be simple, like one butting up to the top, little trim. That should take like 10, 15 minutes.
But that's like the easy clients, probably.
Those are
right?
easy, yeah.
Like,
Some people like their things blend so easily and it's quick. And
or like the easy.
I make sure like
hair.
the shavers on the back of the neck, make sure it's all good to go. Like even with everything, like it's that simple. But I still take 45 minutes. Only because like again, like I like building that relationship, like because before it was all money, but now I notice that like I'd rather build a relationship over $1, and I'd rather not fuck up a relationship over like money, So that's why like either sometimes like my clients would have a birthday, I'm like, yo, that's on me. Like happy birthday, go enjoy yourself, and then come back. You can probably just pay like hook me up later. You know what I mean? And they do that. Or I make sure like if I have extra spare time, like because for me to hook you up is you're still gonna pay me full price. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I said, like either full price or I give it to you for free. You know what I mean?
I thought it was
like my brother, like they don't pay me because they've been since day one type shit.
I'm your first client.
They still,
I remember when Nevin's shit was like this.
Right, like they still,
he had the Chipotle hat on. His
right,
shit.
like, they still hook me up. Like my brother's like still hook me up. Like they buy food or whatever. Like that's cool. Like something I gotta eat and stuff. But like when it comes to like my friends and stuff like that, like sometimes I'd be like, yo, it's on me, or on occasion, like, like my best friend Vinny, he works as a net right now. Like, he still comes here and there. He doesn't get a haircut often anymore, but the one he can, like, he gets a haircut by me, but he still pays me. But, I don't just take 45 minutes. I give him like an hour and a half because we just talk it up, we chat up, like we shoot the shit. Like I give him beer and like, I'm just here with them, like we're just chilling, and then I provide an extra service for him, like just to make him feel like, he's getting it worth it, and that's the thing. Like I give people my time, you know what I mean? So the talent's already there, everything's already there, but like my time becomes more value, and I'd rather give people my time, you know what I mean? Because honestly, I can't. No one can get that shit back. I can get my money back. Yeah. But time wise, it can get it back. So I'm trying to make most of my time as I can now. So creating that experience for people and making the most out of that, it's like that's more of a pledge to what I offer to the whole industry. Like it just giving you my time. My expertise and other stuff like that's super important.
That's good, man.
Yeah, yeah.
We need people like you in the industry.
So like things like that, like I'm really trying to push people like to that brink and like understand like
man, will, man. Plug in your shit right now, man.
Plug in your shit.
Plug in your shit right now, man.
So
let the people know what the fuck.
Scan the QR code right there.
So
like, no, man. Let them know, man.
So that's like my story, like. But understanding like
that was just the introduction.
That was just introduction. Right
2 hours. This is NPR with our.
This is about to be a two series episode. Like.
Now we'll.
That was pretty good at
editing and stuff.
And like so, like so those 3 years have been a ride, and like ever since the passing of our father, like. I've always wanted to create something for him. Like I was on the verge of creating a product for him, right? It was supposed to be because we call him Encanto, and it was supposed to be like an Encanto brand. So like
before the movie,
before like you know what I mean, like before the movie, for sure.
Disney's already filing lawsuit against us
for sure. I'm like, damn.
No, against you.
But like
fair use.
Just creating all this. Like I wanted to do that for him, so I was like before he passed away. So like I was on the brink of doing that, and. I was gonna use everything was kind of a tribute to him. Like I couldn't. He gave us everything we needed, and sometimes we like he's. It was a lot of passion in what he did, just to give to us. So like I wanted. I couldn't give him the world, so I was just.
So you named it Encanto.
So I try to keep the legacy going. And there was a lot of weight holding into that name.
What is it? What does it come from? What does it mean? I know what the word means, but like what
Encanto came from?
Yeah,
do you remember?
Encanto. He got it from. Oh, he got it from work because one of his friends used to work there. Wasn't who was it? Was it Robles or was it Colombia's?
It was one of those. I think someone gave him then. It wasn't us that gave him the name, but it was someone else that gave him the name. But then just carried on.
I think it was. I think it might probably been Colombia's because
because
he's from Colombia.
It's like an inside.
So the name came from everywhere. So honestly, like the origin, we might not even know. But I remember like some of our family members, I think our cousin, I think it was Rolas, no? Rolas, Mary.
No, because I remember. I know Rolas would always call my dad Encanto.
Like Corazón de Melón. It was first Corazón de Melón.
Corazón de Melón.
And then it was like on the funny joke thing. And then it became like Encanto. And honestly, like, looking up the meanings of Encanto. So sometimes it means like charming and enchanting. And it does make sense.
So I know where it comes from. So Encanto history is basically, I know this is from the movie. but it's a lot of like Colombian history. So I'm pretty sure.
So it probably came from Colombia then.
Yeah, from
damn.
My dad's friend Colombia.
I looked at the definition.
Edgar's name, but
Edgar Escalera, no?
No, that's.
Was it?
No, it's.
Who's that?
Edgar.
Family member.
What was?
Long time. My dad's long time.
Colombia's was one of the
coworker and stuff.
Yeah.
Of your pops.
Yeah. My dad's worked at the restaurant. This is a restaurant called the Bagel Restaurant. It's on Broadway. What is it? Broadway
and Barry.
Broadway and Barry. But it's been there for
Facebook.
the one that's been on downtown. I think it's been there for a good while. But there's one in
it's Edgar Zapata. I remember that.
yeah, Edgar
Shout out
Zapata.
to Edgar Zapata.
Mi
I don't know
Colombias.
if you guys- This is the legendary Colo, the only Colombias. Like, this man was, like, our dad had a big, like, his story is huge. Like, sometimes there's things that we don't even know either, but one of his things was, he had really good support from a lot of people. And one of the big ones was that guy, Edgar Zapata. He was in Colombias. And he was like, they've been together since the beginning, since they were all working together. I think he used to
It was like
work
40. Well, the bagel restaurant has been open. I think it's like more than 47 years now. Probably almost
Yeah.
50. But I remember my dad was telling me he's been there since
almost the beginning. Like, he pretty much,
Opened it.
I think
well,
so.
he's like one of the workers in back
One of the
because
workers,
he
yeah.
said because I think originally they used to be in because it's a Jewish delicatessen and stuff, and they're open on it was on Devon. So back in the day when Devon was, instead of like how it is now, it's very diverse and very like
The Bon and Western.
yeah, around there, Devon and Western. It was like
Devon and Sacramento, like,
yeah.
stuff like that. Like, yeah.
because it used to be
It was really, I think
Is
it
it
was
be-
on Devon and Sacramento because we used to pass by there and it was like, it was right there.
yeah, because it was
That
very
was the OG.
very like Jewish centric like community and stuff. And then that's when in later 80s and 90s were Europeans and more like Albanians and Arabs, and then also
Yup.
like Paki and India and stuff, and everyone started moving in and stuff, but they moved around. I think they were in they had another shop in what was that mall? Skokie.
Lincolnwood?
No, not in Lincolnwood. It's Skokie. The
Kaufman's?
No, Skokie Mall. The
Old Orchard.
Old Orchard Mall. But I remember they had one there, and then they opened one in Belmont. But my dad's been back on forth on that.
Like
but
40
yeah.
some years. Yeah, but yeah. So, I mean, if it was, Colombia, as they gave him the name, honestly, it's probably the most perfect one to give him that, because he's been with us, since we were kids, and like when shit got rough, he was pretty much the first one there, and like we had no relation to him, like, but also our dad didn't have no relation other than him being a coworker.
yeah,
you
that's
know,
true.
Shit.
But they were like literally the best of friends.
Where were they
like,
from? I mean, I know where you guys are from, but what was he from?
I know he's from Colombia. I don't know where in Colombia, but he was Colombian.
Oh, he's
he was-
Colombian.
Yeah, that's why you got
other
the
than that,
nickname. It wasn't anything like racist or
Well, his name Colo. That's it. Like, he was Colombian. And we just call him Colo.
Colo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad gave him that name.
Yeah.
And but they're like their bond was super, tight. Like that was like his homie, like day one type homie. Like he followed him where he went, and like they all went together, they stayed together, and it was dope to see like, growing up, like when we went to like his work and stuff like that, like them working together. It's like a unit, a family. Like they shoot the shit, do all this stuff, but they got shit done.
I remember those free cookies, the Happy Face cookies.
Oh fuck it! I mean,
You ever been to like a deli or bakery and they have like those fresh like cookies and stuff where it's like the ones that
sugar
the ones that sugar cookies, but the ones that
Potbelly and Subway.
oh, it's not the same.
you never had like those hard sugar cookies, right?
Yeah, it's like we always saw that when we were there. It was like
That was the best one. That was a smiley face cookie. It was like yellow and black. Like it was the little dots and then the smiley face and black and then the yellow.
yeah, I'm not
Yellow
sure if that was
it
a
so
thing,
fire.
but it
No,
was,
I remember. I remember that shit. Like it was the cookie. It was yellow and
Smacking.
and it was smiley. It was the best cookie ever.
Did you have it with milk?
Bro, we just had that shit drying, but that shit was
Oh,
fire.
fuck, can't do that.
Dry.
shit.
But yeah, like watching him, do all that stuff and like, it was also a passion too for him. Like he loved going to work. He loved doing that. He was on Chicago's Best. He was on everything for like the best matzo balls. It was called the Best Balls episode. He was on there like, bro, this man's famous as hell.
Oh yeah, if you
He's been on Telemundo, like everything.
If
bro,
you
he's
look
been-
it up,
And
actually,
it's like
our dad's been on Chicago's
all
Best.
all that stuff, man. Like, but looking up the word Encanto, it's either like one like enchantment,
Yeah.
and another one says miracle. And it turns out, our dad was born on Christmas.
Oh shit!
Thankfully, that makes sense, right? So miracle is a miracle, you know what I mean? So that it makes so much sense.
You think that he knew that, and that's why he called him that?
Maybe. Honestly,
maybe.
I want to call it. I mean, I gotta find it.
You gotta find.
But it'll be dope to understand. Like,
I feel like that's like knowing like Latinos and Hispanics, bro. Like I feel like
the nicknames.
He probably gave him that because,
there's a certain type of sentiment. It's like, but even also too the weird ones. I remember my dad. He had a weird ones like
el muñeco,
or like, churique,
el churi. Yeah, like all that.
I'm like, bro,
a bunch of different stuff. But I mean, we didn't know what that means. But like I said, like growing up and seeing all that stuff, like it was dope to see, and like all the passion he had for it, and like all the love that he had for people, and all the love that people had for him. You know what I mean? So like that's kind of a legacy he left on.
You think that a lot of it, of what you do now, attributes to like what you are trying to do for the barber community, and also like the industry and too, and then also just like in general, as a barber or as a person in general of what you are trying to do. Because I feel like a lot of it, my dad has done this in an aspect, kind of the same thing, where he's helped a lot of people like either get jobs or helped, other family or even immigrants, like a job or temporary, or help them out with anything he can, like even give his clothes off his back and stuff. Do you think that a lot of it kind of
like resembled it?
Yeah, you think there's a good inspiration from
most definitely, like that's for sure. Like, it's crazy because like a lot of the times, this is leading on to like the segue you guys are talking about the show. Like, seeing that and like those moments when he was sick, like when he got sick with COVID and all the complications and stuff like that. It was a month. Period. It was like I still remember, like it was Thanksgiving. It was some of the most important days. It was Thanksgiving, it was Christmas, and it was New Year's. Like that's when like families all together and stuff like that. And it's like it's a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah, I remember.
There's a lot of like stuff like that, and seeing all the people get together again and kind of like, like I said, there's a long story to what he's done, but like. And then once he passed away, it was like a period where like I had to kind of it was almost like the pandemic period. I had to reevaluate everything again, and it was like either shut down and just go to work and just be a freaking zombie and not be myself anymore, or two, I go back to work and do it for a fucking reason, and that's where like my gear just switched, And I was like, yeah, I love cutting hair. Like, but like I said, there's a lot of issues in our industry too, and there's a lot of issues around the world. Yeah. And I was like, he created a lot of love for people, and they brought people together, and all this stuff. Like, look deep, like digging. Like I thought deeper in all his like philosophies and all the things he taught us, and like all the things that happened over like the times. And it's like digging deeper into that. Like that's what he brought. Like. Bringing people together, make sure everyone like love each other, make sure like people had a smile on their face all the damn time. I was like, no matter how hard things were, like just keep going, And like I said, like no one's perfect. You always say like no one's perfect in his life, and I was like, but I try to do my own iteration of that. And it's like I know no one's perfect in his life, but I want to try to be better every day, And I know I'm gonna give. What was the saying that Miss Youngblood told me? It was like. Try your best till your better becomes your best, or something, or something like that, something along that. So I add that to the, no one's perfect, because I always try my best, so every day is gonna keep going. There's gonna be a point.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds deep.
I'm trying to remember the exact words to it. It was like, try your best till you're better. It was something like that. It was something I gotta remember it, but. It was something I still kept on, and I kind of added into it. So
you should have wrote it.
I mean, I probably might go back to school
once you remember it. Right
there. It was one of the best quotes that she told me.
Write it down.
One of the best quotes that he's told me. Like getting into that. Like now, I'm trying to really understand myself again, and like that identity crisis kind of going away. And like,
I haven't had mine yet.
it's crazy, bro. Like she always told me, Miss Youngblood always told me like have a wow factor
Still having
or like have a aha moment. And I've had so many aha moments. Like the light switch is on. You know, like
Yeah, man.
and during during all those times, there's years like every aha moment, I'm like damn, and like everything is like on top. You know. So the product thing I didn't end up doing because it was just too much manufacturing, too much money. You know, it's a lot of money. It's like thousands of dollars to even start it. And companies like they just want you to buy 10,000 units and make sure you already have a brand name and everything. And I didn't have anything.
Yeah, it'd be suck my unit.
You know, and I was like, you know what? And that's when I got into like being better with my money and trying to be smart about it. And you know, I had a vision. Or kind of like an idea a long time ago when I first started the industry. And I remember talking to somebody and I'm like, you know, I want to try to make an impact, try to do something. And I was like, and I love that thing. Like I love working at King's, I love being there. And I was like, you know what? Like we should, when we started getting into that, you know, that scene of the barbering world, I'm like, we should do our own show or something or do something or in lines that or just something for our clients. And, you know, I had that idea. I'm like, I don't know what to call it, whatever, but it's just an idea. You know, and that's why I was saving money. You know, I was saving money during that time so I can do that, you know. And I was in the, you know, restaurant industry too and learned the whole service part of things with that. And, like, I love cooking. I love doing that. And I love serving people, you know. Like, that same feeling that we get from cutting hair and serving people a good plate of food or whatever, like, that same feeling, like, I love getting that feeling. So being able to give back like that to people, like, it's super important. So I'm like, you know what, let me save my money up and let's try to do it, you know. And, you know, it turns out, like, I lose, you know, majority of more than half of that money, and I had to rebuild and restart. So that was like, it wasn't even in my mind anymore, you know. And you know, another thing was try to start a pride band or just try to have an idea like what should I call it and stuff like that. And you know, the first thing was it was like Encanto. I still had I probably had the drawing somewhere, but it was like Encanto or something, and it was like a take on his restaurant logo. There was a lot of symbolism to like everything that I did, and just kind of like, you know, if people don't know, you know, like, and they kind of dig deeper and ask those same questions, like I would want to tell them like, oh, everything's kind of inspired by him. So like all the scents, everything was something that he liked and someone that he loved, and it's like kind of like the remembrance, you know. And that was like my take on it, and it ended up like not happening. So I was like, damn. And then that's when that period happened where he got sick and stuff, and boom, I had like a month or something to like think about stuff. And then I was like, you know what, like I gotta do something. You know, I gotta try at least something, you know. So that thing, you can like try to be something or be someone. And I was like, you know, I don't want to. Everyone talks about being a celebrity barber and stuff. Like I never liked the idea, and I was like, I'd rather be someone that people look up to, like in the community. You know, like be a people's person. Like I'd rather be well known with my people and the people in our community and like everyone around us than cut up the next celebrity or cut up whatever. Like those celebrities, like everyone in my chair now is my celebrity. You know what I mean? So they're the people that put money on my table, put food on put money on my pocket, put food on our table, like help everything else. Like they help support that vision too. So I could care less about celebrity barbers, you know?
Cheers to that.
Yeah, like it's like, yeah, it's dope. Don't get me wrong, but it's not something that I wanted personally. And I feel like that's something big in the industry. And it's like, man, yeah, I know you're Instagram famous and stuff like that, but I don't know. Like, I also want to know who the person behind that Instagram handle is. So that's why I end up creating my own show. So now it's actually in full effect now. But it's also in honor of our father that passed away. So it's called the Encanto Social Hair Jam. Right? All the words are significant. They all mean something to me, and they all play a factor in what the show is supposed to be about. Right? Encanto means, you know, it's him. You know, what he brought to this world and all his philosophies and what he brought to me and my brothers and pretty much everyone around us that's something you're gonna feel. You know what I mean? And like his presence still gonna be there, and you're gonna feel that. And you know the right people are gonna be at the show. You know, and it's like I've been to many other shows, and sometimes it becomes a little bit too corporate for me. And it's like somebody's always trying to sell me something, or there's no genuine interaction. And you know, there's some people that I do meet, and I love the interaction, and we still keep in touch, and still have that network, man, and that shit's dope to me. But sometimes it's like there's some other people in there that it's just, they're
not in it for the wrong reasons, they're different from their own, they're there for their own personal gain, which is fine.
Yeah,
but
so
you want something to.
I want people to give. I want people to give me a feeling.
You want not everyone to feel outed out, like kind of like if someone's like, let's say like how you started off, like you know, uncomfortable and like new and stuff, and like you know, nervous to be starting out. It's like like walking into your walking into your own house. You know, I want people to feel that. You know, when you walk into King's, you know, you feel welcomed. You feel like a part of like everybody. You know. Yeah. Shout out King's Barber Studio.
So when it comes to my show, you know, like I said, Encanto means him. He's a big symbol in what I want to do, and like you know, even to take on like the movie, you know, like how the family comes all together, and just be also like you know, just seeing what that period when he passed away, like you know, those times, like it was tough for us because you know they had a family feud that we knew about, but it was kind of hard to get past, you know, like it was so many different things, and you know. I specifically told him, I remember at the wake, and I was like, man, from here on out, like, we got to do more things as a family. And, you know, like, whatever happened in the family feud in Mexico, whatever, like, I want that shit done with. Like, I don't want to do anything with that shit. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, whatever.
Well, people don't know that, like, just for context of what's going on, you know, that stuff. A lot of Hispanics and a lot of immigrants, you know, a lot of their families and generations, that are here in the United States, there's a lot of like, I know there's memes too, where like they're like, you know, fighting over land and stuff, and you know, because over there it's a lot of personal gain. A lot of it has to do with you know, just different, like you know, different backgrounds, and also. Just the value of money over there, and you know how traditions and how hard it is. You know, a lot of it's done by word, and a lot of it's you know not done written in stone. You know, not written in stone and stuff. But I mean, a lot of like Latino communities have that where it's like they have land, or this goes to this.
So and whatever. And that's the thing that happened with our family. It was like. That feud was happening during, you know, everything. And when, you know, once my dad passed away, it was like, I just told him, like, someone had to, like, say it, you know? And I was like, I mean, I'm being one of the youngest ones, you know? I'm, like, right in the middle. But, you know, I was strong enough to be like, yo, we got to do more stuff as a family. We got to be more together. Like, I don't really care what happened back then, but now it's, you know, it's a whole different thing, you know? So we got to do, you know, more things together and just, you know, just be supportive and like, you know, change that little like, you know, thing. And especially in the Hispanic community, like in our families and stuff, like there's always that like weird tension, you know, like I don't want that no more.
Yeah. Cause everyone's going to be different. I mean, I think from ours, I don't think we really had that much tension. It was more like for some of our family members back in Mexico and stuff. A lot of, I think our dad's brothers and sisters and stuff, they were kind of cool. You know, there was still, you know, one of the few like that there is some like beef and stuff, but there was always like,
there's something weird about it.
Yeah, it's like
there's always something weird about it, but like it wasn't like we're like fighting and stuff like that. But it was like there's always something weird. And
I think our dynamic was more like we were very split, like separate, like you know, a lot of like I'm not like yesterday you were celebrating your aunt's birthday and stuff. You know,
right, we would even do that, you know.
Yeah, or us is like we're more like I think we became more Americanized, or kind of like We just did our like
Our
not
thing.
even our thing, and then like everyone has their own separate lives because everyone has their own families, and we're all just too busy and stuff together. Which in case I do remember those words that you told all our family at the at the funeral and stuff at the but I remember you telling not in like in a mad or in a pissed off way. It's more like in a kind of like questioning in like a very articulate way. And
yeah, because I wasn't mad. I wasn't anything. I was more so like
because you basically just said what's been like
why?
so what's been keeping us all away from each other, like what was the reason? And then I remember all our family was kind of trying to think, and there wasn't really no like explanation. It was kind of like there wasn't anything at all that like kept us. We weren't we weren't across the border and stuff. We didn't have those boundaries and stuff. We didn't live that far or miles away from each other. It's just the whole tension and stuff were kind of like it just kind of our lives itself kind of like
it kind of just took over, like
push ourselves away.
So ever since then, like it's like our dad kind of brought people together. So that's something that I want to push towards. I want to be able to bring people together like that. Just have that mutual, that genuine feeling again, and especially like during the time during COVID, like everyone was doing things for themselves. So now it's time to. There's no everyone did it on their own first, but you kind of realize that you need each other more than ever. So the Encanto Social Hair Jam, like I said, like the social part is kind of coming back to being social with each other. Mm-hmm. And one big thing that I'm preaching about it is I want people to be pretty much be you, be themselves before anything else. Like people are going to show up. I mean, it's supposed to be an industry show, So people that show up, are part of some type of industry, or even then, like they want to show up and just kind of show support. So that's what I'm saying. Like I wanted to know the people behind the Instagram handles. I want to know the people, their stories. Yeah. So I want to get to people like just because like sometimes, I never had a chance to hear like some of the stories he would, our father would tell us. So at least I get the opportunity to hear, someone's story. At least like to kind of see what their mind's at and what their goals are. Because some people have the same goals. But just everyone has a different journey, So we can be able to help each other through that journey, no matter what it is. But we all have the same goal, So no matter who gets there first, we're all gonna win, We're all gonna get there somehow, some way, right? So that's the social part of it. I want people to be themselves, be, like I say, you show up, I seem like be Alex, and you work at ABBA, you work at Iridium, like. I don't want to know you. I don't want to know Alex from Iridium. I don't want to know Alex from ABBA. I want to know Alex Munoz. You get me? So even with myself too, like, I've always had like I don't know. It's always been like I said, like the identity crisis part. And like I'm a junior, I take my name from my dad, So, but I put my twist on and put Fonz. But I've gotten used to being called Alfonso, And something that used to be kind of weird for me.
Why you say that?
I don't know. I sometimes like there was something about the name that I just didn't like, But
you think a lot of it's like holding up to his name or like
Yeah, that too. Like he had a high standard, but also like I want to keep his name to him, like he was top tier,
Yeah.
So some people like I said, like it was like those people that have like that one guy we watched at 4-1 Racing where his father was, one of the top, and his son was always right there next to him, So they're always gonna talk about their dad, So
I remember that.
I want to be able to create my own path.
Good show.
So that's what I use the Fonz name,
That's good.
But I mean, when people call me Alfonso, like I also take high praise to that because. That's what they call him,
It's kind of like LeBron and his son.
Like type, you know what I mean? Like I respect his name high enough, but that's why.
What was his son's name?
Bronny.
I think I want to use Fonz, but also like that Alfonso name like takes high, you know.
Yeah,
So that's kind of what he did. What he's doing.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to live up.
He's LeBron James Jr.
Yeah,
but he put himself as Bronny. He's putting himself as
Fonz.
Isn't a lot of people talking about Bronny where they're kind of like telling him that he's not
his dad?
Yeah, he's not his dad. Well,
he's not trying to be his dad. He's trying to be him.
Trying to be Bronny.
That's why he called himself Bronny. Same thing what he's doing.
So I'm just trying to do that for myself. At least, try to make that for myself because he, everyone knows him as Encanto, So like, so stuff like that, like he's created a name for himself for that, So I want to be able to create my name myself for Fonzz. But I mean, eventually, like also like people in our family call me Encanto too, because I'm a junior. So like I wouldn't even mind later in the years, like if someone comes to me like, "Hey,
Encanto,"
and I'll be like,
Encanto. I feel like we just do it a fucking for like laughs, or not even for laughs. We're just kind of like
it probably will get there, honestly,
because I think we just joke around of my dad's mannerisms, like of his the way he would his accent and stuff, and also his, not really. I think that was also like how Latinos we make fun of ourselves in subtle ways or each other. Yeah. So he's calling himself Encanto, like Encanto, or
that name, that saying, that nickname, like it holds weight, for us personally, So going on to Encanto Social Hair Jam, so
when is it?
We went through. We went through Encanto. We went through Encanto. We went through Encanto. We went through Social and a hair. I feel like because me being in the hair industry, being a barber, that I noticed that, like I said, we were undervalued, and I saw an opportunity to see, like, barbers, they cut up everybody, like everyone in different industries. Like we service everyone, we take care of a lot of people and a lot of people in the service industry, and CEOs, we take care of CEOs to
down to the janitor.
But we treat them all with the same respect as anyone else, So that's why I'm emphasizing the hair part of it, because I want to make sure people know, like, our industry is huge.
Yeah.
And we should be, like, not only one, we should be viewed, like, just more than just barbers, like, more than just, we do more than just cut hair,
I ain't gonna lie. When I used to have a barber before he quit, he used to be, like, kind of like my therapist.
And that's the thing, dude. Like, that's the thing. That's crazy.
I used to tell him, like, damn near everything.
And that's the thing, man. Like,
and then he just one day just stopped cutting hair and moved.
And I say your therapist gone.
And he gone.
And, like, therapists now, they cost, what, $200, $300?
Yeah.
And it's crazy because, like I said, like, I want people to really be themselves. And I already know you're a barber. You know what I mean? I already know you cut hair, bro. But, I mean, do I want to know where you cut at? Yeah, cool, because I want to, associate, like, make sure, like, everyone in the barbershop knows, like, we got to know each other, because it's all barber love. It's all Chicago love, too. And, like I said, like, I want to emphasize the hair industry and, I also want to introduce a new take on my take on a trade show or a competition or anything like that. So show us that we also have a level of professionalism and we also have a level of creativity, and that we're also more than just barbers. Like, we're also really good people. Or, we can be your therapist, we can be your best friend, we can be a lot more. Like, so I know some people are videographers, photographers. Like, there's so much more. Let's say I do pass away, like, someone that I want people to know me as, Fonz was a fucking great guy. He was a dope ass dude. Like, but I don't want people to know me for my haircuts. I want people to be like, yo, Fonz is a dope ass haircutter. Like, I could care less about the haircut. I want people to know me for who I am. Right. So that's a big important thing that I want to introduce the hair industry and make sure people know, like, we're more than just barbers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when people watch this interview, you're going to inspire the youth. You're going to inspire older folks to, to be themselves.
Yeah, to just be themselves. Like I said, like, the identity crisis stuff was big and during COVID, and a lot of people get to find themselves. And
a lot of people went through that
shit. Yeah, man. A lot of people are still trying to find themselves.
And that's okay. Like, if it takes time, like, then so be it. But try to make the right decisions. And make sure if it doesn't feel right, don't do it.
Exactly.
And it's like, if it's not for you, then just don't do it. Like, just try. And then the last word is just jam, right? Because if you think jam, you know, like this is my, like when people say this is my jam, like this is my favorite song, you know, or jam and
Get together.
and you get together,
Bands.
pack out of space, like all that stuff. So
Space
the Encanto
Jam.
Social Hair Jam is a tribute to, you know, to my dad,
Space Jam.
and making sure like
Yeah,
all
man.
barbers and all that types of people, and everyone comes together and talk to each
Strawberry
other,
Jam.
be the person they want to be, and just pack out a venue and all this like-minded people all together. So the show is on July 25th, right?
Why July 25th?
Honestly, I had it on July 18th.
Is there knowing how you speak and how you
There's a significant date to that.
there's something yeah, what you just said.
Not really. It's crazy because I mean July 18th, right? Not looking at different shows. Honestly, I wanted something because with all the trade shows happening, I had to find a day, you know, and I didn't want to compete with all the bigger ones and all of that stuff. So I was like, I had to find my own day. So when I picked July 18th, because it was, I don't know, it's ringing a bell to me. July 18th was July 18th, but I'm like, then I look into like all the trade shows. July 16th and the 17th is BarberCon in New York. And I'm like, now people would have to go to New York and then come all the way back to the show. So I'm like, you know what? Let me change it. Let me go a week later, July 25th. And then it turns out it works out for everybody. But even better for me, only because Monday would be my show. And then following that week after would be Wicker Park Fest.
Oh.
No, not a week after, but that week of. The same week.
Same
it'll be
week.
Monday.
So Monday
my
is
show.
your show, and then that
Tuesday
same
to
week
Thursday is Wicker Park Fest. And I think Friday through Sunday is something else. Right. So I thought it was perfect. And then you think about it, the summer solstice happens July 21st. And so July 25th is like prime summertime. Right.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean that's when stuff's happening around like the
Everything's happening. Everything's popping out.
Chicago.
Like,
Surprise guess.
that's Biscuit.
I mean all these events are popping up usually in July,
Yep.
you know, June, July and stuff. But yeah, but we can go over this again. But you know, the Encanto Social Hair Jam. It's going to be an event hosted by FreshFonzz and his team. And basically, it's going to be just an event for the industry of barbers and you know the community of vendors and you know bringing just the community itself rather than just you know I guess being focused on one group specifically. I think just bringing like-minded people and people who really want to vibe and to you know, at an event and stuff.
July 25th is going to be
Yep.
pretty crazy. I guess as an introduction to the hair industry.
I got the details.
The service industry. And, you know, it's going to be a whole day thing. So it'll be like, it'll start around 2 o'clock and there's a series of different competitions that kind of show off, you know, what barbers can do. You know, like there's a creativeness that we do have. And sometimes competitions help us kind of not only inspire us, but also inspire other barbers and other people and people that are starting off too.
Then it's also really nice to see what the world is like from a barber's perspective and just their world in general. Because even if you're not you know into hair or you know or maybe you don't get haircuts as often and stuff or you know because your appearance is how you want to appear and stuff and you know you don't have to be. You know, you get haircuts if you want or style how you want, you know, it's your body, your choice and stuff. But I think it's cool just that you're approaching people in that aspect of where they don't even have to be.
You don't have to be in the hair industry to enjoy it. So
yeah.
So all the things that are happening that day, right? There's gonna be different competitions. Just to kind of get people excited for it. Like, say like you're not part of it, but you want to kind of enjoy something over the summer.
So what are some of the things that you guys are offering?
Would see
that you would see it that maybe you're not seeing at other events.
That's a good question. Other events, I mean, it's kind of the normal. Like competitions are kind of pretty broad. They're always fun to compete. Don't get me wrong, but I'm one person that I like to change things, and I'm a pretty like radical person. I like to change different things, and I mean,
Hitler was radical.
I'm trying to find like sometimes it does get kind of repetitive, and I feel like sometimes there's got to be someone that tries to change it, and well, that's what I'm doing this year, and it's my introduction to the hair competition world, and get people something little something exciting, a little more theater into the barber competitive world. So all the competitions, I mean, the best thing to describe it as is pretty much take Master Chef, right? Your culinary artists, and just put that in the perspective of a barber, and they get through a series of challenges, and they get a category, and they gotta overcome adversities and try to execute something that they're thinking in their head and show it to a judge to be able to critique it, and someone that's highly regarded in the industry, to kind of judge it, and some people that they look up to, or just local artists local barbers that just like some person like Jose, for instance, he's gonna be a judge there too, so it's someone like that he's always been wanting to like critique and kind of get into that world, and it can be an introduction for him, so there's gonna be 5 total competitions. It's gonna start at 2:00 and end around 8. I'm gonna give you guys kind of some more like the more exciting one. I mean, all of them are gonna be exciting, but we're gonna have a main event. This is gonna be like the first ever main event for a competition, for a show in general.
Steel cage match.
Maybe one day, just people just start throwing clippers off the turnbuckles and all that stuff.
Start cutting hair on top of the
hell yeah,
on top of the cage.
That'd be freaking sick.
Hell in the cell.
Jump off it. Yeah. But we're gonna have a main event there, and this is gonna be pretty much a game show kind of like vibes. I just felt like in some shows the competitors weren't, put on the spotlight. I feel like it takes a high level of skill and also like confidence, and just being able to go on stage like that in front of like hundreds of people or whatever it may be. Like it takes some heart, and not many people do it, only because of like they're scared, but it's okay. Being scared is you being human. So, with that being said, like this competition is going to really test, who you are as a barber.
Skill.
Like I said, like it takes skill, it takes finesse, it takes innovation, it takes a lot of, like I said, it's more than just, your simple phase or whatever it may be. Going back to my father, like watching him work, he was probably one of the most innovative persons around the kitchen. Like to be able to find something like a tool that no one ever think about and create a masterpiece that people like love eating. Like I took that into account and put it into this event. And pretty much all the competition will have something challenging where every barber is challenged, but they pretty much have to outperform each other. Like I said, I want nothing but the best from everybody, so I expect the best, right? So they should also expect the best from themselves. Give me your best. So everyone's allowed, every competitor is allowed to do whatever they want, right? But each competition has its own series of challenges. You're going to face adversity, and I love seeing underdogs win. Me being an underdog too, like, man, there's so many people high up in the industry, like, man, I'm an underdog to this day, But seeing someone win like that over someone that's been cutting for years, it's just awesome to see. Not more so like a ha-ha to the other guy, but more so like, man,
you got it.
Yeah, if you really,
if you put your effort into it and put all your all into it, like this competition is gonna be for you. Like this is the test of your skills and how much you actually really love cutting hair. All the companies are to find people that love the industry, that love cutting hair, that just want to cut hair just because they want to cut hair.
True.
And it is not for a cat. Like I'm not really offering cash prizes just because, I mean, you can make your money at the shop. Like just make it a shop. But like I said, like there's gonna be tons of sponsors that are giving away different products, and you can go home away with, I think it's about $1,500 worth of stuff.
God damn.
And I think competitions.
I need to join this competition.
Right. So like I think competition should be only one winner, and usually they have one or two, one, two, three, like first place, second place, third place.
Walk in like that.
I know for me, winning second place isn't enough for me.
Yeah, man.
I want to win.
It's fine though. It's okay to be.
It's okay to be second place. Don't get me wrong, but everyone wants to be first.
Everybody wants to be first.
True.
And so that's why I make these.
Like Ricky Bobby said, if you're not first, you're last.
Right. Win or lose, they're gonna go home with a sense of like needing to relearn the things that they messed up on or faults, and just kind of reevaluate their skills and stuff. Not as in like in a bad way, but also like just freshen up on different things or just try new things. That like if you feel like you're burnt out or something, like just trying something new like that.
Yeah, kind of like re-inspire you, reinvigorate you and stuff, and like kind of help you want to regrow or kind of just find yourself again.
Right, and I said like a lot of people barbers to the day, like we get burnt out, and things like that help us. So going back to the main event, it's like my take on a 5v5 team battle where everyone has to do their part, just like in a basketball team where a point guard has to make sure everyone's running their plays, or the center power forward has to run their rebounds and stuff like that. Like, so everyone has a role in their team, so we're gonna do. I want to keep everything kind of a secret towards the end when you guys watch the show. But like I said, that's like my take to that. So it's gonna be a 5v5 team battle, but how it's gonna be set up at the show is gonna surprise a lot of people. They're gonna be set up with different challenges, different things, and it'll be almost a form of a game show. Was gonna be the first ever of its kind, but that's probably the most I can give you.
It's gonna leave you. It's gonna leave you on a cliffhanger.
Right. So it's my biggest thing is a 5v5 team battle, and that's all I can really say. But it's gonna be on Instagram Live. It's gonna be on my profile, and it's gonna be on King's Barbers through Chicago's profile. We're trying to find ways to live stream it, but like I said, all the details will be distributed during the show. Also, you might see a little trailer on my profile coming soon, but just gonna give people an idea and some hype, some anticipation for it. And like I said, like if you love watching something suspenseful and like some theater into it, like I said, you could show up and watch it and just love it and kind of maybe like not be inspired to cut hair, but just be inspired by other people just doing the things that they love to do.
Yeah, just if you're not doing anything, you can find something to do, and it'll be something for everyone to enjoy. But you can find it at it'll be on Eventbrite. It'll be the Encanto Social Hair Jam, and then by FreshFonzz, and that's his Instagram handle. But that's where you can find him at Instagram handle. You can find all his details on the event. And that event's going to be on Monday, July 25th, from 1:30 to 8. It's going to be at the Joinery at 2533 West Homer Street in Chicago. So if you guys have a chance, definitely slide through. Tickets are on sale and stuff, and definitely.
Oh, tickets not on sale now, actually.
Not on sale, but they're about to be.
They're about to be. They're about to be. Or like early July, but the fact that I only did it because we have capacity limits at 180.
Yeah, because it is your first.
It's my first
event. So
I mean, I did prepare.
Working out the kinks.
Yeah, like I did prepare for it not being full but also, I mean, it turns out that almost every competition is booked out. I probably have like 3 more slots left, so it's gonna be about over 40 competitors, 40 barbers just battling out, and I hope to be one of the next biggest shows in Chicago, one of the best experiences you can probably get. And apart from just the competitions, there's also going to be a food truck there. One thing that I saw in different shows that the food was kind of low variety, and I want to be able to bring different local restaurants and be involved in stuff in different breweries or wherever it may be. So we're having a food truck, and he goes by the name of Florentino. Is his food truck called Flo's Kitchen Food Truck?
Flo's Kitchen Food Truck.
Yeah, I think he's on Instagram at Flo's Kitchen Food Truck. I think. He's out on around the north side area. He has his own food truck like behind his house and selling.
What is he? What kind
birria.
of food?
So
Birria.
birria is one of the
Birria.
biggest things that are like I think it's
It's bussing right now.
It's
Bussin'.
super bussin'.
It
Like,
depends where you buy it.
Yeah, so
Tell me.
like California is one of the big ones, but he's bringing a whole new take on birria, and you know,
That's how it goes.
Quesadillas.
quesadilla, birria ramen, fries. He does burritos de cebrada. He does like traditional burritos was supposed to be. I think they're like burritos orleñense or something like that. But he's going. Hopefully,
Is he gonna have quiz?
what's those?
You don't know what quiz is?
That guinea pig.
Isn't
That guinea
what it
pig.
is?
That's what, Salvadorian?
Ecuadorian.
Ecuadorian.
Oh, shit.
Sorry, don't beat the shit out of me.
But yeah, he's hopefully. I mean, also I'm in talks with Danny Espinoza. Shout out Danny's at Danny the cook or Danny the chef. He's one of my biggest inspirations too in the food world. Like he's an activist. He gives back to the communities. He puts a lot of heart into his plates. A man of cuisine, a man of culture, a man of like just everything, you know. So he's like a good friend with Florentino. So hopefully, in a meeting we're gonna have.
Maybe you want to probably get more. You're interested in getting more vendors and more just food and just
There's more
culture.
stuff, like more things to it. But as of right now, we only have one, and that's Flo. But we're hoping to get a whole new menu other than birria.
For the event.
The event only, so it's gonna be kind of special
Variety. Oh, that's cool.
So that way, you know, people get a little bit more out of it. But birria is the main thing. But he wants to do something kind of different, something kind of cool, something kind of new. So hopefully, you know, we can kind of keep them inspired and see what we can really like give people. You know, so hopefully, like people can watch competitions, and it's gonna be an indoor-outdoor space, so people can eat outside. And the tables are going to be still family style, so people can sit together and they can eat together. And one thing is big that hopefully we can bring people together through the flavors of food, you know. And that's one thing that starts conversation, like what are you eating, you know, or what we eating, you know.
Yeah, eating. That's
you know,
that's the main.
Our RIP to the one kid that passed away with, who said, "What we gonna eat?" That kid.
We
passed
eating.
away. Yeah.
Or a high school boy
RIP
Hugh. He's
to
like,
him.
you
Yeah,
eat.
so-
Yeah, you ain't eating.
So hopefully we can all eat as
You know, we eating. He eating.
you know, hopefully we can all eat as a family.
We eating.
You know, and all be together and pretty much technically break bread together, you know. And then every ticket that's involved is you're also gonna be provided with drinks. So King's Barber Studio is providing the drinks for you guys.
Complimentary drinks.
Complimentary.
Pretty much, yeah. We're gonna have a limit on it only because
Maybe.
we're also gonna have an after party, so you can pretty much get lit with us. You know, pregame a little bit, and then the after party you get lit, and you're out of my hands. You know, but we also have a hard seltzer company too sponsoring it. Their ad is drink.
Double Chico?
No, I wish, but it's at Drink Half Pass. They're a local hard seltzer company out of Chicago.
Shout out to them.
I think they've only been around for like a year now, but they're making waves with something kind of new, and hopefully we can kind of share with people and kind of see like what their takes on it.
What's the name of the
Drink? Their ads
company?
Drink Half Pass. I think it's just Half Pass on their like labels, but it's like organic juices and different like infusions with different. It's pretty much like a handheld cocktail, but just more natural and more inviting. So like a lot of their drinks, like you can pair it up with something else and create something entirely different. So hopefully for the show,
Like
That's
pairing with food?
yeah, we're pairing with food or just
or
another drink.
cocktail? Yeah. Wow.
Or like mix another cocktail within a cocktail, basically. So hopefully I can talk to the bartenders that day that they can probably do something and make something for you guys. And then, you know, everything else. So you can be like mixed cocktails. This is normal stuff, you know, your whiskey gingers, your vodka sprites, you know, this is normal stuff. This is gonna get people like going and get them excited a little bit. But, you know, we're also gonna have the after party. Shout out to the Big Onion Hospitality Group. They run Fat Pour, Woody's, and Hofsmith, and the Fat Pour and McCormick and Irish Oak. So they're a good partner group where, man, they love having a good time. And I do see that every time I go to one of the restaurants or one of their bars. And we're gonna most likely we're gonna have the after party at Fatport at Wicker Park, and that's pretty close to the venue already. So one, you can pregame with
Let's travel.
You can pregame with us, and then it's most likely gonna be $50 all you can drink at Fatport from 9 to 12, and that you just get lit.
It's gonna be what?
What?
Can you at Fatport's?
At Fatport, I think it's called Fatport Tapworks in Wicker Park. It's on Division, and I forgot the other street, but it's on Division. And it's gonna be $50 all you can drink wristbands for 3 hours. So from 9 to 12, it's gonna be pretty much the premium stuff. So they allowed me to do premium, but it's not like, Hennessy or else, but it's their top stuff. And then it's crazy because also Monday is industry night for them.
Wow.
So industry night too, they also have $5 fat pours, and those are like I think a pint. I think so, like $5 beers.
So no, we're not getting well tequila then.
I don't even know what that is. What brand is that?
It's gonna be all good,
But they also have a kitchen too, so like people can also eat. But I don't know what time they close that kitchen. Probably like at 11 or 10 or whatever. But
11 time.
They have some pretty good food, some really good food. But like I said, their vibe is good, and then they're already getting the DJ set for that day too. So it's about to be a whole day experience. So from 1:30 to 12 a.m.
It's about to be a vibe.
It's gonna be a whole vibe. So that's the take on my show, the Encanto Social Hair Jam, and kind of my introduction to the podcast. So shout out to the Diversity Podcast, right?
The Diverted Podcast. The
Oh,
Diverted Podcast. We're your host.
Even then, it's still diversity.
And it is. I mean, that's the whole name of the podcast in general. Diverted Podcast. It's supposed to be diverted because we never stick onto one subject. We're always like switching to different things. I mean, that's the whole premise about the podcast because everyone's still like our podcasts are different. It's either you on your For You page, you come up with the Man Bro podcast where they just talk about specific
bro shit.
Bro shit, or mansplaining shit, or the non not.
Oh, can I shout out all this?
Just what's considered the normal, the normal people.
Shout them out
a bunch.
Oh yeah, I mean,
let me shout out all these sponsors, right?
Oh yeah. We'll let FreshFonzz shout out his sponsors, and this will be his plug-in. Go ahead.
So it's pretty much everyone that's being involved. Like I said, this is my first ever show, and the fact that I had the opportunity to network with all these people and kind of understand their stories and stuff. One big thing, like I said, like I want to get to know the people behind the brands. So a lot of these people are some of them are my clients. Some of them are really good friends in the industry or as friends, just really good people. And now I would consider them family. So one is Graduate Hotels. They run some of the biggest hotels around college campuses. The Big Onion Hospitality Group. Ace High Co. They're a Michigan product company. Black Guys Professional. They're actually from Niles in Illinois. And then two, one of the biggest clip companies in the industry right now. They're one of the most innovative. They listen to barbers. They're trying to change the game entirely. So at Gamma Plus USA and at Stylecraft Pro. And then we also have Official Tune 45. It's going to be an official sponsor as well.
Wow.
And then the Midwest Barber Trade Show. They do their trade show in January where it kicks off pretty much everything. Hopefully we're waiting on new sponsors too. But those are all the ones that said yes in the beginning, and then they understood my vision and they support it. And also I also support what they do. And so I want to give a big shout out to them and a big thank you to supporting me in this new venture. And hopefully next year it'll be even crazier and I get to see everyone's faces.
Cheers to that.
Salute to that. Salute. And get to see everyone's faces and kind of see something that, how it all gets brought to life. So shout out to them. Oh, also, I got a couple more people too. Darren Roca asked you the Urban Blades
for everyone watching, you can go ahead and follow FreshFonzz at FreshFonzz on Instagram. Shout out King's Barber Studio. You can go ahead. That's where you can get some fresh cuts from him. And he's been my longtime barber since day one. But he's going to have an upcoming event. It's called the Encanto Social Hair Jam. You can go get tickets at eventbrite.com.
Scan it.
And go ahead, scan the QR code. You can go into his Instagram handle and click on the link below on his bio. But that's going to be Monday, July 25th from 1:30 to 8. It's going to be at the Joinery, 2533 West Homer Street, right here in Chicago. Go ahead, just if you're a fan of, haircuts, or you're a fan of, you want to go out, get some food, or see something different.
Good time, for sure.
Yeah, you want to have a good time, definitely come out, support, show love to these barbers, show love to just the community and stuff, and just vibe out with us. Go ahead with Munoz over there with the QR code, but it's gonna be right there on FreshFonzz page, and tickets will be on sale on his page on Eventbrite when they do come up the following days. It is his first event, and so tickets will be limited. And shout out Biscuits in the background, up there on his little ledge, like the Batman.
So I want to give a little shout out plug to pretty much everyone that's been helping me through the journey. And so pretty much shout out Divert Podcast. That's number one. Graduate Hotels, the Big Onion Hospitality Group, A-Side Company, Black Guys Professional, Gamma and Stylecraft Pro, the Midwest Barber Trade Show, Tomb 45, Refine 3 Co. Also want to thank a local ice cream parlor too, the Sunday Stop. Thank you, Junior. He has one of the best ice creams out in the city.
Bussin'.
Some of the best ice cream. Like, this man is
Pancakes and maple syrup's my favorite.
some of the best, but man, just super dope guy. So thank you for him to being able to sponsor something like this too. Like, that kind of shows you what it kind of brings to the industry and how many people that you can bring together. And also thank a big shout out to King's Barber Studio Chicago, to be able to help me through the whole process. So thank you, everybody. I hope everyone's that can show up or just try to be as supportive as possible, and let's help each other grow and let's help each other win. And
yes, sir.
like I said, Chicago is one of the best cities of all time and one of the best cities for the barbering industry. And July 25th, the Encanto Social Hair Jam is gonna show you why Chicago is one of the best.
Yep, you heard it from FreshFonzz himself. You can go ahead and get tickets at eventbrite.com for the Encanto Social Hair Jam. It's going to be coming up pretty soon. It's going to be July 25th, 1:30 to 8 p.m. Tickets are about to be on sale in limited capacity. It is the first show, so we're going to see how it turns out, but mostly we're just here starting off. It's going to be at the Joinery, 2533 West Homer Street. Definitely see us there. Come vibe out, get some drinks, watch some competition, grab some food, and really represent Chicago and what's really all about.